The Supreme Court has unceremoniously rejected the Texas lawsuit supported by 20 other states against 4 states that would effectively have overturned the election. That's the news for the night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Now let's talk about aliens. Alex Jones is joining me and Michael Malice is... I'm kidding. We will talk about the SCOTUS stuff, but yes, Alex Jones is here. Michael Malice has returned. They've both returned with a vengeance because the last podcast we did got removed. And I said, as soon as it got removed, I was like, I hit both. I reached out to Alex and Michael and said, can you come back on immediately? And this is the soonest we were able to make it work. So
you wanted me on a few days later. I'm like, absolutely, but I got to leave town because I didn't have babysitters. But here we are, and I had a lot of fun. That was amazing last time, and I don't have a toothache today, so I am a little bit better than last time. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, right on. And Michael, of course, hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So
I am a gorilla. Murder yourselves.
What is that? What is that from?
It's a meme they made of us, that video.
Oh, they did.
It was really funny.
There's also a picture of you going like this with like the tinfoil hat.
Oh my gosh.
So earlier, I think Luke posted this photo. We had Alex stand in front of the green screen for a few minutes, just saying whatever. So we have.
I'm going to do it again later because I didn't get what you were saying. I thought I had to do something because I'm too dense. You're like later. No. We got some good stuff. It's you doing different poses. Then I got it. So I was a little bit dense there. But let's go back to this.
Andreas, who's chilling over, he wants to make videos of like music videos of you dancing and stuff.
Can I ask you one question? Because you do the live streams. I've been kicked off YouTube for a few years, so I get to live vicariously through you. I watch the show all the time. I knew Radowski was here. I've been watching him all week at your house. But I'm sitting there trying to figure this out. It had 900,000 and something views that night. The next day, it was still 900,000 views. Then it goes to like 1,003,000 and then goes away. So how does that work when you obviously we had 3 or 4 million views?
We actually had a total of like 2.3 million.
Is that right?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
2.3 million. So
I feel like Newsmax.
But the
Newsmax wishes they had that.
The front,
their top show is at 200,000. I'm not knocking them, but that's what I'm saying. You guys are like, oh, YouTube, don't ban us. We worship you. The goddamn show's got millions of viewers. It's bigger than Tucker Carlson. That's what I'm saying. They got us eating out of their hand when we bring the whole game to them.
I don't think they care. I think they want to be Netflix. They want us to sit here.
Bourgeois respectability.
Yeah. And listen. When they just issued this, YouTube made this ruling where they said you can't make claims about Trump and fraud or whatever. The report they put out was actually about their advertisers. They didn't care about fraud or anything. They're just like, look, advertisers, we're doing really nice for you. Please don't pull your ads off our platform.
No, and I agree. So we had a discussion before we went live.
Yeah.
Which I don't even want to go into because I want to move on from the election and cover other stuff because I'm typecast to always only cover the current political stuff. I'd rather cover the big classic conspiracy stuff. We're going to do that tonight. But
aliens.
This is process.
GMT.
Texas filed a suit saying that the legislatures of these other 5 states did not pass a law to take mail-in ballots, and so it was mute. Well, the Supreme Court just threw it out. Big defeat of Trump. We should be able to look at that, give our opinion. Doesn't mean we're the Supreme Court, and that's it. Everyone knows it's our opinion. Let the public judge that. But then we're all on pins and needles. Well, I mean, do we say it's a fraud? Do we say it's not? No, there's no been proven fraud in a court. That's true. So, but again, how do we not even like walk around on eggshells around the edge of that?
You can't even give your personal opinion. Well, I mean, you can, but if it's an unacceptable opinion, you're gone. So they pulled down Scott Adams. You guys see this?
No.
Scott Adams had his video pulled down. I don't even know what he said, but he's look. He's got his bombastic.
He's
moments,
very centrist, though.
But he's I think he's very
he's pretty liberal,
calm,
non-threatening,
and tame. They took one of his videos down, sent him an email saying you're gone.
And that's the crazy part is when they ban something you do or they ban you, you never know what it is. And then once they've banned you, I've experienced this. Then they can say whatever they want. Like, Jones won't quit saying this. And most of the time, I never even said that.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. I have no voice, and so they can say it.
Let's give another example. Sorry. Like Laura Loomer, right? She got banned everywhere. Like, she became the nominee for, I think, the 21st District in Florida. The day she won the primary as the Republican nominee, they changed the rules, and they didn't say, except for Laura Loomer, they said, blah, 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 and they frame it in such a way that you dig the road just to have this person on the far side.
It's gerrymandered.
One thing, One thing they've consistently
That's exactly
done,
right.
They say that, this person was manipulated using other accounts to manipulate things that they won't prove and you can't defend yourself against. So I guess you can call it defamation, but it never gets anywhere. Twitter just says, we banned them because they were operating multiple accounts behind the scenes.
Well, exactly. They call it, well, I mean, here's the other thing happens. I know lots of people I talk to later go, yeah, I've been on your show before, but they banned my account saying I work for you. I've only talked to you like twice. So these people are getting banned because they're telling them you work for Alex Jones just because they promoted something I was doing. It's very, very frightening. But here's what's more frustrating. I just want to say this up front. Yeah. I'm not running away from Trump. But the media acts like I got some bonanza supporting Trump. I got sued, persecuted, and banned. I'll have more listeners with Joe Biden then. It's not like I'm like in some Trump cult, but they made me the Trump cult leader, and so they won't let me not be that. That's what I'm saying.
But they made an example out of you.
Exactly.
Because you can, to some extent, afford it, but this is telling everyone else, you're next. You stay in line. Do you want to be a hero? You got a family. You got kids. Yep. We're going to come for his job.
That's it. They 100% made me an example. And what I'm telling people is in the process, I'm a tough guy, I can handle it. But I was the formula for everybody else where once they deplatform you, they can, so let me give their threats for them. It's not that you've been shut up. It's that they can say whatever they want about you. Right. They can misquote you and you cannot respond. Yeah. You're like frozen in the Phantom Zone like General Zod, and they're out flying around doing whatever they want.
But you're not frozen in the Phantom Zone. You just get not corporeal. Come on.
But at a certain point, check it out with this Hunter Biden stuff. They suppressed the story heavily.
This really grinds my gears. I know.
Are we allowed to go here?
Yeah, of course. I
got 9 inches.
Okay.
I snapped as much as Tim Pool can. I got mad because we went through big tech banning the story. Twitter literally shut down the New York Post reporting on this huge story that Hunter Biden was crooked. And these emails were coming out showing that even like Joe was facilitating this with the flight on Air Force 2. And they say it's all fake news. It's all Russian disinfo. They refuse to report, refuse to cover it.
They don't debunk any of it. They just say it's not real.
And then 1 month after the election, what do? What a politically explosive story we just discussed.
Attorney General blocked it. It turns out Barr blocked it during the election. Exactly.
And then it becomes, well, if it was real, for average people, if it was real, how come I haven't heard about it?
Exactly. But that's why.
You've heard the Hunter Biden tapes. I mean, they don't deny they're real. But he's like, literally, I met with the head of communist Chinese intelligence. They're the Southern District's going to indict me. My daddy's scared. I mean, these are real tapes. And we're like, Twitter's like, it's fake, blocking it, and now it's all confirmed to be real.
And I'm going to put on my Alex Jones tinfoil hat. The guy you guys saw, I'm sure, Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, he had that. Jeff Zucker was the head of CNN. They found his audio. They leaked it. The guy who's the political director of CNN, I forget the guy's name. He had been at Yahoo News. He was fired from Yahoo News because he said, got caught with a hot mic, that Mitt Romney doesn't care if there's a pool full of African-American kids who drowned. Wow. So instead of when someone says something that outrageous, they're not driven out of town. Now he runs CNN's political department. These people always fail up. They do not have consequences for their depravity and malfeasance.
It is the revolving door.
They're rewarded for lying.
The incentives are there, correct.
Well, I can explain it to you because I work for these companies. Let me break it down for you. There are always people who say, if you publish a fake story, you'll lose your job. Look at these guys at CNN. They got fired, right? And I say, right now, there are 2 guys who worked at BuzzFeed. One guy was caught plagiarizing. One guy was spying on a rival news organization. And then what happens now? They both got rehired at other big firms. There is a guy who I worked with who killed a huge story about the New York Times manipulating content. And now he works at the New York Times. It's a revolving door. And you know why they like the liars? There's no grand conspiracy between the editors of these companies going, we need to find a bunch of liars. It's them seeing someone write a story that benefits them going, I like stories that benefit me. Yes. Hire the person who writes things that make me look good.
It's all about responding to incentives.
They all go along with the system.
Yeah, right. Because it's evolutionary. Otherwise, they'll get weeded out. The idea that you can gay bait someone like Joy-Ann Reid back in the day and just have these really nasty kind of like little innuendos. If you look them up, they're really offensive.
She claims she was hacked.
And then you say you're going to call the FBI. Like if someone calls the FBI for something they did, this person should be facing legal consequences. Instead, she gets a promotion. And that's what I think is increasingly the case with the average American when they realize these people are not playing by the same rules that even remotely port to anything I understand.
Look at Brian. It was Brian Williams. Is that who it was?
Yeah, he's saying
shot down in a helicopter.
Making and they were like just moving to MSNBC, I guess, because you know what
they did.
But you know why? So he was on what, NBC News, right? Was that Brian Williams? And then once they realized that he was making things up, they were like, well, who would be more willing to accept made up things?
MSNBC.
Hyper partisan leftists watching MSNBC. So they moved him over, and he carries on. It's. Are you guys familiar with the Gell-Mann amnesia effect? Michael, are you?
No.
So this is the name was made up to sound funny by this like academic. The idea is you're reading a newspaper. On the front page, it says something in which you are an expert. Like it would say Michael Malice.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah.
So you'll be like, that's not true. But then you turn the page and you see a story about someone else, and you go, wow, I didn't know that. you forget they lied. So you have these people who seemingly don't remember that Brian Williams literally was making things up and going around and admitted it. And they put him on MSNBC and people are just clapping along and cheering for it.
Because there's that, quote, credibility. He's like, yes, I was in a helicopter shot down by an RPG. Well, I remember that wrong. You'd remember whether you were shot down in a helicopter.
Look at Joe Biden in the 80s. When he just was taking the life stories of other people.
Yep.
Well, how did that change?
plagiarizing?
Because he was running for president, and then he had to resign in the middle of it. And from the campaign, he said, I did this to myself. I'm sorry, it's wrong. Basically destroyed his career, but it's not. He's about to be the president probably. And he literally would just take he would take the Kennedy stories. Whatever the Kennedys said about themselves, he would composite JFK, RFK, and others into his life story and just repeat total lies. But back then he had to step down. Today, like I said, there's so much information that it is like a form of amnesia because they don't remember. The people don't remember.
This Tara Reid thing just like was here and gone. How could people forget
because
about
the
that?
the media, they memory hold it. They were like, it's bad for Biden, get it out of there. It's a right-wing conspiracy theory.
Here's something I think I'm the first person to break, and I'm going to break it here. I got paid $1,000 to read Kamala Harris's book.
Ugh.
And in that book, she makes the claim when she was running for either Attorney General or Senator, I think it was Attorney General from California, that a Democratic operative got on stage with her at UC Santa Cruz, somewhere else, and said, no one named Kamala, and especially from loony San Francisco, is going to get elected statewide in California. First of all, after Barack Obama, that's absurd.
Yeah.
Second of all, California isn't going to elect or like a woman with a weird name. No one, and this story is in various organizations, political, they all repeated it, which she was obviously the source. I try to look up, this would be a huge backlash. If anyone said this to anyone, like with a name like that, you can't get elected, you would think that person would be canceled immediately. They've never fact-checked it, and it's nowhere online other than from her. And because they don't care.
They're PR firms. We had, was it Matt Brainerd who said that?
It was a Will.
It was Will?
Yeah.
Are you
Great.
sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Said that the news organizations are PR firms?
Will talks a lot about how he really hates how everything now is PR.
Pretty sure that was Matt Brainerd who said the New York Times is effectively a
They both
PR
said
firm.
it. I've
for
heard it a
the hard
couple
left.
times.
It seems
in the
like
last
it's
few
been
days.
propaganda the whole way down since the inception of human history, except for little bouts of freedom, like the American Revolution, when they didn't have a central bank for a short period of time before the United States got re-co-opted.
Who was the president who like shut down the first one? Was that Jackson?
Yeah, it was Andrew Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
Said,
mad.
I killed the bank. All I know is you got an incredible steakhouse down the street.
And they tried to kill the guy.
Oh, is
right?
that? Oh, well, we shouldn't say what it is, but so let's do this. Let's do this because we're definitely getting ahead. Let me just
Here in Missouri,
Aliens.
Here in
Yes, that's
Missouri.
right. Here in
That's
Missouri.
let's I just want to read you guys what's happened with the Texas court case because I know we're going to open this. We kind
this is
of
a big deal.
check it out. So I got the actual filing here from SupremeCourt.gov. They say Texas v. Pennsylvania. The state of Texas's motion for leave to file a bill of complaint is denied for lack of standing under Article 3 of the Constitution. Texas has not demonstrated a judicially cognizable interest in the manner in which another state conducts its elections. All other pending motions are dismissed as moot. Statement of Justice Alito, with whom Justice Thomas joins. Quote, in my view, we do not have discretion to deny the filing of bill of complaint in a case that falls within our general jurisdiction. See Arizona v. California, 589 U.S. I would therefore grant the motion to file the bill of complaint, but would not grant other relief, and I express no view on any other issue. And then they also note Goldman Sachs v. AR teacher retirement was Satori was granted. I don't know what that case is, but it's kind of funny to see Goldman Sachs versus the teacher retirement below Ian's face. He's like, what? Yeah, that's on the document too for whatever reason. I don't know. But
I'll say this. I'm not going to just give people positive news. I mean, I think clearly there have been anomalies. There's been problems with accepting these 80 million mailed out ballots. That was the Democrat strategy. They said, we're going to hold up this election. We think there's going to be a red mirage where it looks like Trump wins. We're going to be counting for months. And even if he looks like he wins, we will not accept his inauguration. We are going to have our own inauguration. That's what John Podesta said to the New York Times. All that went on. As soon as Trump has a problem, he says, I'm going to challenge this. Oh, it's terrible. It's crazy. And Matthew McConaughey said that last week with Russell Brand. He said, listen, maybe the Republicans are in denial. Trump lost, whatever. But to act like it's crazy for them to challenge this when that's all you did at the last election. You tried to block the electors. Then you said he was a Russian agent. That's a fraud. So everyone saw that unfold. But I will just say this. I talked to White House lawyers. I talked to other top constitutional lawyers. They said the other suits aren't that good. The Texas case is the best. And they said if this goes down, it goes from a Hail Mary to a super Hail Mary. So I'm not going to sit here and sell people pie in the sky. I think we've gone to about a 90% chance now that Trump's going to have to capitulate.
It's more than 90 because there's no organizational will from the Republicans to do this.
That's it.
Well, there was 126 Republicans in the House signed on.
That's
if you
true,
can,
yeah.
I mean, they don't
look,
care.
I think it's 99. I've been saying it's 99.9% for Biden for the past,
No, you have been, but I mean, isn't that
3
because
weeks.
it's the illusion that he's elect? He's had the signs up. He's done it. And so they finally said he's a Russian agent. He's going to be gone. Didn't work. He's a Ukrainian. It didn't work. But finally, they used the election as the way to whatever really happened to say Trump's done. And I think just the perception of all our other elections that somebody wins, somebody loses, that's what's going to happen to Trump. And so the question is, Republicans aren't going to cry and scream and throw fits in the streets like the left did 4 years ago, like toddlers. But what is going to happen in this country? Before we went live, both of you guys were saying you think it really looks at societal, historical division and leading towards some very
What did you
dangerous
say?
points.
Divorce?
Yeah,
You're not the first person to come here and say that either.
I am the first. I wrote an article about
you really?
this in April 2016.
All right.
All
right.
Saying it's time to disunite the states, that we've been held together with thumbtacks and strings since the beginning. There's at least 2 countries here, and we only got held together and one invaded and had occupied the other half. It's ridiculous that people, David Korn, I think from The Nation, he's a big hardcore cathedral operative. He was tweeting out, Republicans are trying to destroy democracy and have a coup. Every election's a coup. Every election is a lot of people do not want this person.
It's electoral war.
Yeah.
It's all stylized war.
Yeah, and because you have more people, therefore I get nothing and I got to sit at home and shut up. No, I'm not going to
No,
shut
in
up.
a republic, everybody knows this, but I'll say it for those that don't. If 51% vote in a constitutional republic to enslave the other 49, you can't have it. But in a democracy, they had black stones and white stones in ancient Greece, and routinely they would vote to kill somebody. They didn't like what they had to say. And if 51% said kill you, they did. In a republic, folks, we protect property, we protect life, we protect self-defense, and we say, hey, there's certain things enshrined you can't do.
This may be misattributed to Benjamin Franklin, but the quote is
Fart proudly.
That's
misattributed?
definitely misattributed.
No, Benjamin Franklin
A
wrote
republic, if you can keep it.
Benjamin Franklin wrote an essay about you should be proud to fart. I'm not kidding. Look it
Oh,
up.
okay. Well, anyway, the quote I was going to
Historical.
say is democracy is 2 wolves and a lamb deciding on what's for lunch.
They did. 2 wolves and a sheep deciding
A
what's for dinner.
republic is a well-armed sheep contesting the vote.
Yeah, I think that he did say that.
Yeah.
Say that again. I ruined it, interrupted it.
Democracy is 2 wolves and a sheep deciding on what's for lunch. A republic is a well-armed sheep contesting the vote.
And republics aren't invulnerable. Like the Republican oligarchy of Rome was eventually the military commander just took it over and turned it into
Which
an
is
empire.
Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon. But it was treason already trying to overthrow the Republic that forced him to do that. I'm not defending Julius Caesar, but it's what I'm saying. People say, well, General Flynn said we need martial law, and Lynn Wood said we need martial law. And people are like, oh, my God, I'm not for martial law, but we're already under blue state, blue city martial
Yeah,
law.
we are. And so this is something we were actually talking about like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Who brought that up? They were like, was it Will who said we're
think
already
so,
under
yeah.
martial law? I was like, you get these, isn't it? It's crazy to hear people calling
These
for this.
updates on your phone telling you what to do. Don't go outside your house. It's outside regular law. Regular law is suspended.
Regular
The
law.
First Amendment to the Constitution, people know about freedom of speech and religion. It says the right to peaceably assemble.
Yep.
It doesn't say why.
Yeah, it says if I could get together with people. There's nothing more peaceful than a holiday dinner with your family, or maybe it's less peaceful.
Well, it says Congress shall make no law.
Yeah.
Respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or the people's right to peacefully assemble, or the press, or of all
you
that.
have no right
It's
to
all
lock
that.
me
The
down.
government does not have a goddamn jurisdiction.
Right. And they're just completely brazenly ignoring
I'll
that.
tell you-
I'm sorry. If the government can just say, well, it's an emergency, so we can do whatever we want, then what the heck's the point of the Constitution?
It's like
at
a
all?
man raping
Right,
a
exactly.
woman. A man does not, or a woman raping a man, or a man raping a man. You don't have jurisdiction. You have to agree to it. And so literally, this is like rape. When they say you don't have a right to go out, but we do, and then they exercise their rights and we don't, they're doing that on purpose. This is rape.
I think the first and most important thing for people to understand too is it's against the science. It's the World Health Organization's top doctor came out a while ago and said is the last of last resorts, and it should be avoided, and it can be avoided.
The head UN envoy said, lockdowns, we were wrong. It's starving millions. And even Melinda Gates came out yesterday and said, we didn't know this would cause a collapse in millions starving to death.
272 million are expected to starve to death in the third world in the next year
And by the way,
because of the
fact
economic
check
collapse.
that, YouTube. I was saying that 10 months ago. So what I'm telling you is the lockdown, whether it's real or exaggerated, whatever it is causing, because in the first world, okay, we lose our pension or you don't have as big a house, or maybe you lose a few pounds. In the third world, a breakdown and a lockdown causes starvation and death. So when the West goes into depression, the third world dies. And we're talking about real Black Lives Matter here and other lives all over the world. Poor people are starving to death right now.
Was it in, I think it was Mali or some African country, Malawi, one of those two, where they were said, all right, you're going to have a lockdown. Even though they had no COVID. And they go, if we don't farm today, we don't have food tomorrow. Like, we're day to day.
That's a good saying. If we don't farm today, we have no food tomorrow.
I don't know if they were.
If we don't farm today, we die today, they said.
They weren't using it as a.
I don't know if they're as pithy as me because, you know, this
No,
is
the
kind of my
quote
thing.
was, if we don't farm, we'll die within a month. Was the quote.
Okay.
But it's an interesting saying that could apply in any form
But
of.
let me
working
stop
hard.
interrupting because I've sped this up. Start over, Tim. You start over. The New York Times, the Washington Post admit 1 billion people set to go into total poverty, possible starvation. 2 million already starved to death. 200 and something million, I forget the exact number, are on the verge of starvation because of the lockdown, not the damn virus that's only killed 1 million worldwide. So let's talk about that.
Can I go full Alex Jones?
No, but I mean,
No,
Tim was already
perhaps.
interrupted.
I mean,
I'm going to go full Alex Jones. I'm sure you've been talking about this before, and you're not the first. There has been for decades beating the drums for having full-scale wealth distribution from the first world to the third world. This has been a thing that they've been arguing about for a very long time. We need to jack up taxes in Europe.
That's
and
globalism.
America.
That's the Great Reset.
Right. And now they have a reason. Look, all these people are
But
starving.
they're not really going to give them anything.
I know, but this
Yeah.
is a great this is a great excuse.
Oh, you're right.
What, you don't want these people in Africa? You want them to be starving? 'cause
Michael,
of
the
this
Pope
disease?
is pushing that. This is it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and make your points.
That was my point. I agree.
Let's just get this.
Pope Francis is on board with the massive multinational billion-dollar
Yep.
corporations for the Great Reset.
But let me start over because this is so important. And I wasn't even going to go here because it's so serious, but because I wanted to have a lighthearted thing about UFOs and stuff. But start over. You can pull this up. Let's fact check this because I don't want to get the numbers wrong. The UN says like 200 in YouTube. I don't have a perfect memory. Like 230 something million people.
272.
272 are about to starve to death. 2 million already starved to death the last 10 months. Was what I read in the New York Times.
2 million?
Yeah, like a week ago I read it. Who knows if that's real? The point is that I know folks who are in the third world. It's bad. Like you said, I mean, it's bad. These lockdowns are bad. So I'm saying if it kills 100 times more people having a lockdown, we need to stop this. I mean, and this is what kills the whole Malthusian lockdown.
And that's very globally ethically thinking of you, right? Being concerned about how these other countries are faring because of what they're doing in these countries, right? I'm saying it's.
No, I agree. They're humans. So it's
If
gonna
we
happen.
want, if we want, this is the thing. We often hear that these people, with like the Great Reset, which is published on the World Economic Forum website, they're like, we're going to rethink capitalism and redo this to make it better for everybody because for too long, this, that, and this, and the bad things. If I actually, like, I don't actually believe these people when they say they're trying to do the right thing, because
They're doing right by them.
exactly, and it's an excuse. When the Pope comes out and says MasterCard and Visa and these big companies are going to redo capitalism the right way, I'm like, they're the ones who have exploited it with crony corporatism and revolving door politics.
It's like going to Hitler to learn how to fight Nazis.
Hitler killed a lot of Nazis, though.
Well, I guess you're right.
He killed the worst one.
You're
He killed the
Rome,
worst
and
one.
he purged his own people. You're right. Okay, touche.
And he killed Hitler.
That's true too.
He
Yeah.
did. You're right. Okay,
point.
sorry.
He killed
Love
that
warrior.
master Nazi.
The worst one. The
It's
worst
like
one.
going to Stalin to learn how. I don't know.
Stalin killed Nazis too. They were the first ones to
I don't
ruin.
know.
Alex, come on, get it together.
I
Let's go. I thought you were a gorilla.
I wasn't going to the Nazi stuff. I meant it's like going to a fox to learn how to guard a hen house. But I guess
There you go.
There you
actually
go,
go
there
to
you
a
go.
fox to
Better.
learn how to guard the hen house because the fox. is
Well,
the best team.
hold on. I mean, Fox could probably tell you how to
Wait,
guard a hen house.
let's
what
wait.
I'm saying.
Let him keep trying till he gets a good.
No, but he just said it. He just said
But
it.
it's cheating when he says it.
They're the worst offenders
Yes.
telling us how they're the moral
Right.
authority. And then in real practice, their lockdown is imploding us and the third world for them to consolidate.
I got it. It's like hiring the fox to guard your hen house.
Yes.
Because truth be told, if you got a hen house and you hire a fox is gonna be like, I'll tell you exactly how I broke in. And you're gonna be like, that's a good point. That's what I gotta secure. If you hire the fox to guard the hen house and you wake up, you got no hens left, you know exactly why.
So it goes back to the original saying. No, it's the fox. Let's just say this. It's hiring Satan to stop the devil. I mean, it's like they're the guys doing all this, and then they're like, we're going to fix the problems. Their very policies are destroying and killing people, consolidating power. But they go, it's okay.
Did you see the Pineapple Hill video? Pineapple Hill Cafe?
Oh yeah, out of California.
What's this?
This is a woman, and she's outside of her restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
She's got this. We've brought up a million times.
By the way,
it's
we've
really,
talked to her. We can air this. She'll let you air it. I mean, we should play it. Go ahead and tell people.
She talks about how they have an outdoor dining area. It's like this big gazebo tent and picnic tables. And
She shows it.
She shows it. The state said unacceptable, can't open. 50 feet away is food services for Hollywood production. Same exact setup. Totally okay.
Well, let's be
But
clear.
Hold on.
She separates the tables more. They have these huge tents 50 feet away, like he
But
said.
what did she say in the video? Everything I own is being stolen from me. The World Economic Forum published a Great Reset video. I think it was 4 years ago.
4 years.
And they said in 2030
You will own nothing,
and you will be happy.
Sorry, you're right.
Yep.
So when we see all of these things, that the end result is stripping away ownership rights of the poor, but the rich are doing better than ever. Think about
Big
who's
tech's
doing.
making record profit. That's the thing. The middle class is being disenfranchised. The poor is being starved to death.
Yeah.
The third world's being killed. And the people doing it are going, I'm so liberal. Look, the Pope's on our side. We love you. We're going to lock everything down for a couple more years, all right? And you're like, and when everything implodes, we're going to put you all on a universal income and make you take vaccines to get the money.
Do you see what Joe Biden's plan is for COVID?
No.
Is it to crap his pants?
100 days of the mask and
It's basically what we've already been doing.
Yeah, Scott Adams made that point.
Yeah. It's so he's like, if everybody just wear a mask, it'd be done. And it's like, but we've been wearing masks for
good about it.
10 months.
But their argument is some people didn't follow it. It's their fault. But Sweden has the studies. Other have the studies. Mainline scientists. They go, well, it's not the UN scientists. Well, wait. The UN said lock everything down 10 months ago. They did it. Now the UN says we were wrong. Don't lock things down. It's causing a chain reaction. But still the bureaucracies do it. And then the other scientists say the masks don't protect you. Well, whether it's true or not, those scientists have a right to a voice to say that.
I was told by YouTube that as long as we adhere to what the World Health Organization says, we're good. And if you go against the World Health Organization, you're spreading disinformation. Then a top World Health Organization scientist came out and said lockdowns are bad and we should not do them. So what am I supposed to say now? Because the governors are doing the opposite of what the World Health Organization told us to do and what I'm supposed to be allowed to talk about.
So that's a question to both of you. Why are they... The British came out yesterday, the British government, and said, okay, we're suspending shots for under 16, for pregnant women and people that have any type of allergies because we're having, Bell's palsy
And it can only be administered in a facility with resuscitation measures readily available.
Wow.
So I'm not, listen, when I tweeted that, I had people calling me an anti-vaxxer, and I'm like, I am tweeting you the NHS's official publicly declared statement to keep people safe.
So that's my next question.
What are you criticizing?
So I'm asking, that's what I'm saying. What's the paradox here? Where they're like, oh, sorry, we've suspended the Australian shots for false positive HIV test, and now, we're suspending the shots because it's hurting people, and then we're still full of crap. No, the truth is, vaccines have always had pros and cons. And when you accelerate, my biggest criticism of Trump was him getting on board with warp speed and going, oh, you want 2 years? I'll do it in 6 months. And now this stuff's killing people. You want to get on Trump's ass? There it is right there. But now the left won't do that. Remember just during the campaign, though, 2 months ago.
Are there actually deaths? I think there's side effects.
Well, no, what they argue is they go, in all these deaths in Europe and the UK and Australia, the big pharma runs it. So they go, well, we had 6 people die in this study and 4 die in that study and 2 die in this study. But we're saying we can't prove they die from the vaccine.
I need hard data on that stuff because here's what I can.
You can pull it up. You can pull it up.
So,
but you can debate that all day.
The important thing is, I think, letting people know the very, very specific government statements about anaphylaxis and Bell's palsy, like. These things are coming from the NHS.
Well, let me give you some real headlines.
You know what I mean?
Let's do this. 59 die in South Korea after flu shot. Pull it up. Okay, let's pull up another headline. This is just this week. This week. Here's another headline. There's so many of these. 47 homeless die after being given flu shot. Poland. These are all real headlines. I see this in the news feed, AP, Reuters, but it's never a big national news story. It's like they cover the fine print. Okay, we're admitting it, but here it is, and it just comes up and it comes up.
Yeah, there he is. He's right.
Yeah, I see
Well,
it.
so I'm trying to find a Microsoft approved source because you love NewsGuard so much.
Oh, scroll down. CDC.gov.
I love Bill Gates.
You got to make sure it's news guarded.
Well, so I don't know how I actually had a plan for segueing into aliens.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to not get too serious. Like, we got to talk about this SCOTUS stuff.
Aliens are real.
But
But let's hit this. Why did today, or I guess yesterday now, in Australia, why did they stop nationwide all their vaccinations, their government-approved vaccine, which is an mRNA vaccine that goes into your very DNA, because the people that take it are having false positives. They hope they're false positives for HIV. Now, I told
So this is the New York Times, by the way, that Alex is citing here. Australia scraps COVID-19 vaccine that produced HIV false positives.
Wow.
Right.
And this is the T cell counts.
So
Of
that's
the-
what happened,
of-
guys. I took a COVID-19 vaccine. That's why I had that positive test result.
Oh, hey.
Sure, Michael.
Of the dozens of coronavirus vaccines being tested worldwide, the one under development at the University of Queensland was the first to be abandoned. That's
Dude,
the official
they
New
rushed
York Times.
this thing so fast.
But I gotta tell you,
They
no,
did.
speed.
Trump
Wait.
did. Trump
In
did.
all
It's
seriousness-
Operation Warp
No,
Speed.
I mean, I've said this. Trump's biggest thing is how he said, "Oh, I'll unlock the economy. I'll warp speed it." And I tried to halfway try to figure out maybe he's trying to take control from the Rockefellers and from Gates, and he wants to have the regular vaccine that isn't as dangerous, that actually just takes the attenuated virus. And no, he pushed the mRNA. And I'm not turning on Trump now that he's in trouble. I've been criticizing him for months, 8 months. The mRNA vaccine is a new form of vaccine. It goes in and reprograms the cells. It's a mutagen. Normally, you only have this in your body when you have cancer or when you're a baby in your mother growing. So this goes in and programs cells to actually mutate. And so I'm like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? This is insane.
this is how the Ninja Turtles happened.
Well, that was actually the Ninja Turtles was the chemical that was being shipped in through an alleyway that spilled into what's his face's eyes.
Splinter,
No.
Baxter Stockman.
Murdoch, Matthew Murdoch, is that his name? Daredevil.
So,
So,
yeah.
You
So-
guys
so it doesn't
understand,
name
though.
that
You guys understand that.
totally just off the rails.
Listen. Right now, as we know this, any of this you can pull up. Wolfgang Wodarg is the head elected Global Commission EU science advisor. Like he's the good Fauci. He got with over 100 scientists. One of them was the former science head of Pfizer. They filed suit in the EU on December 1st and said, we've looked at the studies on the mRNA Pfizer vaccine alone. And it'll either turn your immune system off and drop T cells down to zero. It's these huge papers they attach. It's like, it's hieroglyphics. But these are like prestigious scientists. Or it'll jack it up and cause it a cytokine storm. And it looks like it attacks the placenta in women because the same protein in this virus is the same protein that's fast growing in the placenta. And they said it looks like it might give people HIV. That was 6-7 days ago, dude. I'm not a scientist. I read the paper, and 6-7 days later, it's in the New York Times that is giving people false positive HIV. So here's the deal. Fact check this. I don't know what's going on, but I'm scared.
I got let's play devil's advocate. If you have a vaccine that cures a potentially deadly virus, and the consequence is like your AIDS tests aren't going to be reliable for like a few months, is that really that bad of a side effect?
But why is it? Because the original, when the Indian scientists in March, late February, at their main Indian Technical Institute, the only Indian school, they got good scientists that bought the CRISPRs. It's worth billions of dollars. They have a multi-billion-dollar CRISPR gene editing reader electron microscope.
A CRISPR? What's a CRISPR?
It's a CRISPR.
Gene editing.
It's a gene editing. I don't understand. I read this stuff. They said, hey, this is a very dangerous chimera, 5 viruses, HIV delivery system. And they said it's not naturally occurring. It's synthetic.
Who said that?
This is the top Indian university. They said it's got gene edited P shuttle gene where they cut this in, and they go, it's so complex, it's above anything we've even got. This is like secret level stuff. Of course, it came out of the U.S., Chapel Hill, Obama, Fauci 5-6 years ago. It was illegal in the U.S. They moved it to Wuhan. They even came out in Newsweek. You pull it up. Fauci funded, we were here last time. Fauci funded
It's North Carolina or South Carolina.
Yeah. Secret illegal gain of function stuff, North Carolina. Fauci funded controversial gain of function Wuhan lab. And so the Indians scanned it, then the Germans scanned it, then the Australians scanned it, and then others scanned it. And I had Dr. Francis Boyle on my show today, the guy that wrote the U.S. Biological Weapons Law and helped write the UN Treaty. And he's the head lawyer. He prosecuted Slobodan Milosevic. He's like a head UN prosecutor. And he said, no, the Australians... He was just on Australian TV yesterday on their national TV, on Sky TV. They reverse engineered off the CRISPR scan and made this new vaccine. And so when they copied it and made a vaccine out of it, that's why HIV shows up. It's a copy of the COVID, which has been attenuated.
A bit esoteric for me.
Yeah.
I can tell you about just like the surface level. This one of the reasons why I think it's important to talk about the UK's warning on like people under 16 and pregnant
Because that's
women.
confirmed. That's not debatable.
But it's just to get people like listen. This is an official thing. I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I'm trying to make sure you know exactly what the National Health Service is telling people. They're going to be proving it in the U.S. Take this up into consideration and judge for yourself. But these are like official health warnings.
Why is the British government 1 week into giving the shot? 1 week into giving the shot, why are they suddenly saying under 16 don't take it, have an allergic response don't take it, pregnant don't take it? Why are they backtracking?
Because this is the trial. They're experimenting. This is the human trial right now. We're going through it.
Exactly.
But I think it's a little bit of an exaggeration. It's not necessarily an exaggeration. It's this whole thing was rushed through to the point where we didn't go through years of trials where they could have controlled groups and
It's the
studies.
Russians.
Yes.
And what does Han Solo say?
No, they rushed it. So now
Remember, Luke Skywalker says, "Why at the rate they're gaining, with the Star Destroyers chasing them off Tatooine when they fly off from Mos Eisley?" He says, "Hurry up!" He goes, "Too fast, kid. You bounce off a star, a supernova. That'll end your trick real quick." Wow. So we've gone at warp speed, and we've actually run into a supernova here.
Star Wars, man. So do you think aliens are real?
Yeah.
Yeah, smooth transition.
Yeah, Tatooine
Such a
is real.
smooth segue.
Listen. Let's finish up. Because I butchered that.
No, we can talk
No,
about
you're
whatever
right.
now.
We need to calculate where we're going before we hit warp drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
reminds me. What was it? The original Star Wars, where they're like, if you warp from here, you might crash into something. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
he's like slow to.
Luke Skywalker's like, "Why aren't we going quicker?" The Stardust, he goes, "Dude, we got to calculate the nav computer, or we'll go too close to a store, or bounce off a supernova, and we're dead.
Or go
That'll
through
end
a
your
sun.
trip real
Go
quick."
Go through a star, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I forget the exact quote. But, I mean, that's what, like, Trump's like warp speed with no,
No direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then he gets blamed with all the shit that happened. Sorry.
I wonder if
You just made a mad
we
mistake.
talked about it last time a little bit, that some people look at humanity or humans as a liability, and that some people think like we can survive with this gross population, we can keep growing it, and we'll figure out ways to sustain. Other people are like, it's too many people, we have to just assume there's going to be calculated losses. Let's move forward.
And what you're saying is that we're all here having normal debates about life and friends being normal. The globalists, it's all about, do we exterminate most of the people to save the earth, or do we have this expansionist view? And within that is the debate of the Malthusian system or the Plato system of cull the public versus the laissez-faire expansionist system. And there's those two debates at the highest levels. And the globalist exterminist view is gaining the fore and is the dominant world system.
Who made the Georgia Guidestones?
Ted Turner is actually on record funding those.
Do you have? You want to do it? So my friends, we have a gift from Luke Rutkowski. He's actually sitting in the room. He's just chilling. But it's a game called.
My husband.
It's a game called. That's right. Well, I thought he was your kid, but anyway, there's a card game. It's a trivia game, and there's a bunch of different conspiracy theory trivia questions. So Michael actually has a bunch of the cards. We were. I'm going to tell everybody exactly what the plan was when we were going to do this. So when Alex and I were talking after the last episode got pulled from YouTube, we were on the phone, and Alex mentioned that the air has been sucked out of the room, and that where's the opportunity to talk about, DMT, aliens, space programs, and all that fun conspiracy stuff that like we got so entrenched in politics. And I was like, dude, I agree. Let's and then
Yeah, because Joe Rogan told me he was going to do that. I love Joe. I get in his studio, his interrogation.
You know what
Which is
happened?
Fine, but
you know what happened? Alex walks in, and then I look at my tweet, and it's like SCOTUS rules against Texas, and I'm like, oh, dude.
Maybe
we
I
gotta
think that
talk about this.
It could be the elves that want us to talk about them.
and you
The
can't,
elves.
because current events are so crazy. Like, they're suspended the Australian because of the COVID vaccine because of HIV.
That's weird.
That's the New York Times. I pulled it up. Like it's in the New York Times.
No, I mean,
So
I
it's
woke up at like
truth is
5
stranger
a.m.
than
this
fiction.
morning, and I saw that headline.
Alex, I got to stop you. I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind.
I'm like, all right,
Do you know what Monday is?
no.
Monday is December 14th. You know what happens on December 14th? Do you know?
On the 15th, they're going to start certifying the electors, and
That's the 14th. On the 14th, they do the electors vote. We're also going to have a meteor shower,
Oh,
it
a
peaks,
full
on the
solar
14th.
eclipse,
not a coincidence.
and a comet.
see how I guessed it?
And-
I thought it was the 15th.
Whoa.
Within the 14th and 21st, we are going to see the conjunction of Jupiter and
The
Saturn,
Christmas star.
creating the Christmas
Yes.
star.
Oh, wow.
So
Only ever 800 years.
Whoa.
So I'm not a superstitious
No, but the
person or anything.
globalists are obsessed with planetary alignments.
But like everything that's happening, it's not been. There's no orchestration behind the fact that the meteor shower and the comet are coming on this day.
That's what they want you to believe, Tim Fool.
Oh yeah,
we live in an electric
Dim
universe.
fool. I just read the news. Isn't it crazy though? Like so when I heard
Well, the
that,
Romans wouldn't go to war unless Mars was in the right deal. And as soon as Mars came around, they would go to war. So, I mean, every culture was obsessed with the planets.
Have you heard of the electric universe theory? That all forces are actually magnetism. Gravity is like a resonating frequency of magnetism.
Well, it's as above, so below. The alchemy is everything is a model of below it and above it. And so everything's connected somehow in the same models over and over again.
Definitely. It seems like an atom looks like a solar system. You know, you have a central nuclei with orbiting
As
electrons.
above, so below.
Do you guys remember that viral video of the young woman?
The grape lady?
Who?
The grape lady?
Grape lady? Who's it?
That was like the first viral video. She
No,
The fat woman on a treadmill.
About a month. The
Scarlet takes a
dancing
tumble.
baby, I believe, was one of the first.
Yeah.
There's a young woman, and she's doing this TikTok video, and she's like, Biden is having excesses in his 7th house, and this means he's going to win. And the peak period, it's like this crazy astrology stuff. Well, Biden ended up, at least winning as far as where we're at right now. But she says the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is coming. It's a once in an 800-year cycle. And this means a dramatic change to the ruling to the system of ruling in the United States.
You know, I bring up magnetic universe because if the orbiting structure of all of this is magnetic, and our brains have magnetic neurons, and our stomachs have magnetic neurons, we're being this all.
Well, that's how birds and bees know to fly thousands of miles off magnetic lines. They now have proven we have magnetic cells in our brains.
And we're probably acting like those hordes of bees. Just if you zoomed out far enough and could look at it functionally, you'd see us. We mass in these cities, like arterial
you have a question?
combination.
Hey, Alex. Performing a terrible act that is publicly blamed on another organization or country is called what?
A false flag.
That's correct.
Yes.
What does he get for answering the question correctly?
You get a Mountain Dew.
How about some of that? What do you got there?
Oh, no, that's for later.
Give us another one, Mike.
Mike.
Questions?
Okay,
Oh,
Mike?
Michael, my love.
So
I guess we're friends now.
I legitimately
man.
am bringing up this like weird stars phenomenon. Is it just people making a joke about the day the electoral college is being certified?
That's weird.
that the
I don't
meteor
think there
shower,
are any coincidences.
the once in an 800-year Jupiter Saturn conjunction.
You know,
the planets are going to come together, aligned, creating one bright star. Like looking, it's the planets, but you'll see a bright light in the sky, bigger than.
You ever
you've
seen
in
that movie
800
Master
years.
and Commander?
No, I haven't.
Pretty good movie, but it's based on a O'Brien novel, but which is based on real naval histories of England. But they got this guy on board, they're having bad luck, and as soon as he's dead, they throw him overboard, the wind comes back and the ship can go on. And he looks over at the ship's doctor and he says, Maturin, not everything's in your books. And so there's just a lot of
I see.
a lot of weird interconnected stuff in the universe that we can all pick up on, we know is going
Dude.
on, but there's no way to quantify it because our sight is so, the whole light spectrum, we barely see one point on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, there's all these other dimensions. We're basically like these blind creatures that only see in a very limited deal, so we're only picking up how the rest of it operates.
I was talking to. I'm going to be very vague on this, but I'll just say, after we did the show last time, because we talked about the elves and DMT and stuff.
Machine elves.
Machine elves. And I was talking to Michael afterwards, and I told him about a very specific coincidence. I don't want to name because it could give away some personal details. But I mentioned like some weird thing happened where some numbers aligned in a very strange way at like the exact same time. You remember what
Yeah.
And it was really, 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 what I guess what do you call it? Serendipitous? That's not the right word.
That is the right
Synchronicity?
word.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird things, very, very weird things. And it seems like throughout my life, at least in my anecdotal, experience, there have been weird things that pop up from time to time. Not in a great number of times to the point where I'd become superstitious or religious. Other people have these weird things happen all the time.
Well, listen, I have dreams because I've had a lot of political success and a lot of stuff. And now people ask, how am I successful? I go with what I think's right. But I have had dreams, and they're dreams I always have. Like, get really sweaty. I get upset. I hardly ever have a weird dream where I wake up like anxiety attack, like I've been somewhere else. When I was younger, it happened more, which is what all the literature says. You're more psychic when you're young. You're more attuned to the universe because you get more control over yourself as you get older. You learn to block out the universe. But I've had dreams that exactly come true. And it's always like a car wreck, being mugged, someone dying, and then I told people about this stuff and then later seen it. It's not like I had some one left side, right side deja vu where one side sees it first, the other side sees it, and you go, wait, I've already seen that. This is stuff where I've said, hey, a guy in a purple and green striped shirt pulls a knife out and stabs me in the arm, and I beat his brains out.
Wait, that happened in real life?
Yeah, and then like a few months later,
Was that a dream, or was
it was a dream. I kept waking up having it, like sweating, and then I'm buying beer when I'm like 16 for girls, and we're in Dallas, and we're buying beer illegally in the bad part of town, And then we're parked in the back of the liquor store, and so I come back around, and this white hobo guy in the same shirt attacks me, stabs me in the arm. I beat his brains out, whole 9 yards.
Wait,
and,
do you have a scar?
Yeah, a couple of them, yeah. But the point is,
What noise did you just make? What?
yeah.
What noise did
What
you
was
just
that gorilla
make?
noise?
I got a lot of
Yeah.
scars.
Oh, okay, that's just
But
okay.
the point is, I've had that dream, like it was nauseating because when I had those psychic dreams, like I'm in another dimension, like I time traveled, like I folded space, and I would wake up, and I never have these dreams hardly ever, but I know if I wake up and I'm sweating and I start puking, like I've been to another dimension. It's always in the future, and it's heavy, man.
What about you, Michael?
I think the way it's been explained to me, like if I write down these 3 numbers, 13, 9, 3, and 8, right? It's not going to mean anything to anyone. It's just like random numbers. But if I go through the alphabet and I tell you that the 13th letter of the alphabet is M, and the 9th letter of the alphabet is I, and the 3rd letter is C, and the 8th letter is H, the next in this series would be A, my name, Michael, which would be a 1.
Right.
So if you knew this code, you would be able to predict the next thing in the pattern. But that pattern had been there latently the whole time. It even if you never knew about it, it still would have flowed automatically. So when you take these kind of substances, is my understanding, you are perceiving patterns that other people are oblivious to. And here's a perfectly rational example of this. This is how
You're talking about DMT?
or I don't. There's a lot
Or
of these
LSD.
things.
LSD, all of it.
Here's another very, very simple example everyone understands, which is stock market traders, right? If I know the market and I see this BMW stock should be $40, but it's trading at 30, I know, okay, this is a buy. It's going to go up. Whereas if you don't know the stock market, these numbers aren't going to mean anything to you.
Right.
So it's about different forms of knowledge and being able to perceive information. And just like one last point, everyone knows this. If you look around this room, you see there's 4 of us here. There's a bunch of people over there. There's spooky ghosts. But we tune out so much. And this is
That's
how-
where I was going. It's an evolutionary development as a baby that we can only see a narrow light
Yes.
spectrum
Yeah.
and not the electromagnetic because we're filtering it out because we can't handle it. As we get older, we learn spiritually or through the pineal and all the rest of it to start engaging more of it. But then a lot of folks go crazy because interfacing with that is too much. Why is we have an evolutionary development to block it out.
I one
You
time
said there were ghosts?
That's a joke.
I woke
I
up.
was like, you can see them too?
But let me tell you an insider trading
They're
story.
racist.
And this isn't like Martha Stewart. You hear a super big story, it'll be a big story.
Ghost story?
No, I mean, I'll tell you a story. Joe Rogan's a great guy. I've known him 22 years. He calls me up like 6 months ago, and he goes, "Yeah, I made the decision to go to Spotify. Don't tell anybody for about 3 months."
And then you went and just sold everything.
No, I haven't told. Well, I told part of it. Yeah, you know, that was a conversation a month later. I guess part of that's true. Yes, I forgot he called you about it. Yes, you know, I forgot. What a small world. Maybe it's all just me, you, and Joe Rogan, and
No one else
There is.
exists.
Michael, Mr. Malice, and that's all. You're all just NPCs. No, but seriously. He goes, "Yeah, I'm looking at houses. Where should I look? Blah, blah, blah. I'm sick of the censorship. I'm going to move over. Can I say this? Yeah, you can say all this except I'm moving to Austin." And then it was kind of a lot of heat on it. I might have embellished it a bit, so I backed off on what I said because I don't want to get Joe in trouble.
Rogan's moving to Mars. He called me. I have the documents.
There's a moon base.
Well, I knew years ago that Elon Musk already lived outside Austin.
Okay.
He already lived there.
Well, I mean, he's
rich enough
he's
to
got
live
rocket
everywhere.
bases in South Texas, North Texas. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got houses there. But yeah, no, people know him. He's I don't want to say where he lives, but he lives right outside Austin. He's got a ranch, and that's where he lives about half the time now. But that's a side issue.
So the story.
Joe, I'm sitting there on my boat. I got my kids on the boat. I got some friends.
Hold on. What's your boat called? What's Alex's
It's just
boat?
a little.
What's it called?
It doesn't have a name. It's a blue ski boat.
Can you give it a name now?
Come
I'm
on, you got to name your
disappointed.
boat.
It's a
Yeah.
26-foot motorboat. It doesn't have a name.
It should
you can
have
have
a
a bigger
name.
boat.
Lil Jones.
It doesn't have a name.
Call it Dr. Malice.
Lil Alex.
We should
Anyway,
name it.
let's Alex, please finish your story.
It's a blue boat.
There you
But
go.
you're right. If it was bigger, I'd name it.
Okay.
Usually little boats don't have names on them.
It says I don't agree with
Michael's
you.
wearing a blue
Yeah,
shirt.
call
Can
him
we call
Dr.
it
call him
Little Mike?
Dr. Menace.
Governors to Gitmo.com.
All right. Please, Alex, continue
All
your
right.
story.
This is a real story.
All right.
Because so you know this. You've talked to Joe. You do this, and you never thought like this. I bet money, Tim Pool. Well, let me ask you this question. When did Joe tell you he was going to Spotify? Because I know you guys are friends. You talk a lot. At least he's told me that. You've told me that.
I found out after the news broke.
Wow. Okay.
So,
All right.
I guess you're not friends
So
after
no.
all.
Hold on. This was live on the show.
Cool.
This was live on the show. You made an announcement about Joe Rogan and Spotify, and then we were going to do a show, And I ended up, I texted Joe because I wanted to make sure I had confirmation. And during the show, Joe called me.
And you left for 30 minutes. I was
right. Yeah. And I got up and I went outside and talked to Joe about it.
I came home to eat dinner, and my wife, who's here downstairs, she's cooking dinner, watching it. And like, hey, Tim Pool says you're full of crap. And I'm like,
that's basically what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
NewsGuard approved.
Well, no. I mean, Joe listen.
He was so angry. He was yelling on the phone.
Was he really?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, but let me get to the big part. Joe doesn't think like this, neither do you. But I'm sitting there as a joke because I'm on this boat with these people, and I knew they wouldn't pay attention to me. And so Joe calls me. He goes, yeah, I've made the deal. I'm leaving. I won't announce it for a couple of months. I'm moving to Austin. I'm going to close on a place in a couple of weeks. But, don't tell anybody, but I'm going to go to Spotify. I go, okay, buddy, that's great. I won't tell anybody. Hang up. And I'm sitting there while these people that are friends with the family, they're nice lawyers, but they think they know everything. And they're talking about stocks and stuff later. And I go, I bet Spotify is going to go up. They're totally ignoring me. So I crack a beer, and I'm like, all right. And I knew that info, but I'm not in the stock market.
Wait, who are you with?
Just some lawyers and family.
I just love the idea that it's your family and you're giving them useful information. They basically like taking classes to ignore you. They're like,
oh yeah,
guys,
like,
talk
here
about-
goes again.
That's how my sick humor works. So I'm on the front of the boat. They're swimming on the back. They're drinking beer, whatever.
What's the boat called?
It doesn't. Yeah. So I'm sitting there on this.
He's had it with me. Yeah.
No, but this is a real story.
Come on.
But I'm sitting. That's my sick sense of humor. Is Joe Rogan have a 10-minute conversation? I know he's going to Spotify for sure. He signed the deal. He just told me, but don't tell anybody. So I'm sitting there, and they're talking about stocks, and I bought this house here, and it's gone up 5%. And, oh, really? My 401k this. And I just, as a joke, because I never talk about, I go, I bet Spotify is going to be really big. And it's like, oh. Meanwhile, I didn't go invest in Spotify. I knew that was going on. I didn't tell anybody. I own no stock. It doubled when that was announced in one day.
It was huge.
And now it's even up more.
Yeah.
So you could have, you could have made $1 billion.
At what point
But
is
then you
it?
get put in prison. But the point was, I knew that intel. That's why this information is so valuable.
Would you go to prison if you bought stock on that?
No.
I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Well,
There's the stock could have gone down because Joe's
He's not
controversial.
an insider. Insider is
Right.
when you work for the company.
No, I agree.
And Joe is controversial. You could argue the stock could go down because of
Like
it.
last
Yeah,
night
but it
we
was a
talked
ge-
about
Not a good argument.
Library?
I agree. So why didn't I do it? Because it's black magic. I am only had my strength because I never engage in it. And here's how I work. If I start watching sports, all I do is watch sports. If I start doing something, I'm obsessed with it. So I can't invest, even though with my knowledge of stuff and my insider knowledge, I could make a ton of money.
Do you meditate?
I need to.
Dude, if you meditate, you're going to vibrate white energy across the universe.
Well, I'm ready to do it right now with Tim Pool. My wife's trying to get me to do it.
Oh, the plant stopped levitating. Look at that.
The plant's gone.
But no, but the thing stopped levitating.
It's because someone was trying
But
to
it's just that's a
Hey,
they were trying
that's a
to
truth,
get,
but how
they
cool
were
is that?
trying to get pizza and they knocked
But
it
think
over.
about insider trading.
You're not hearing me.
What could we have done? But Joe's a great guy. He trusted me with that information.
He had Dave Smith on instead of me. He's not that great.
Okay.
Very failed comedian.
You've
had
been
you
on
on.
Joe's show.
I know. I was supposed to be on before the election, and then he just leave me hanging.
So let me tell you though, the menage a trois I had with Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Were you in the middle of that human centipede?
Yes, I was.
You think
That's the worst part.
What do they call the lucky guy in the middle? That's
No,
me.
no, it's not the
Oh my
worst part.
gosh.
Of course it is.
The end is the worst part.
How?
Do you want me to go into detail
No.
about
Yes.
the
By the
digestive
way-
system
by
and
the
what
way,
comes out of the person
The
in the
middle guy's having the same thing.
By the way,
Yes, but the middle, I
it's
guess.
fake news. I did
Okay.
not have sex with Tim
Oh
Dillon.
my gosh.
I guess you're right because the person in the middle dies right away in the human centipede.
No,
and
they
the
don't.
From
Not
septic-
right away.
But they'll go into septic shock.
No, I thought they did the thing and basically that you can survive because they're like feeding them.
What?
So Tim, do you
They-
think when Joe Rogan
yeah.
told me he was going to Spotify?
Why
that-
are we talking about human centipede?
Because he was in one with Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan. I have the documents.
Oh my gosh.
So what is
Can
it?
you imagine that pay-per-view?
Oh my gosh.
How it would be
Okay.
more like pay per not view. Like I will give you money not to show this to me.
Exactly.
I'm only having some fun, man.
Do you think that
How did we wait? We were talking about.
did we go
I
there?
want to talk about
What,
pure
how did we get
energy.
into stock and Joe Rogan? What?
No, I was giving you
About-
an example of insider knowledge.
And
dark
that's what I was
energy.
saying. How
Listen,
following
listen,
patterns.
listen.
I wanna-
I actually know all about COVID. I know where it's going, all this stuff.
I wanted,
no one's ready for this.
I wanted to say something to what you were talking about, these numbers. I was once sitting at a Starbucks in New York City, and I was sitting at the window bar having like a coffee, and right across the street I could see a wall with black streaks going across it in an upward and arching angle. And I looked at it and laughed. I know exactly what it is. It's wall ride marks from a skateboard. But I realized I was like, and this is a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago, I was like, there are a ton of people who probably walk past that and say, "Where did these scuff
Yes,
marks come
yeah.
from?" No, because like, did a bicycle ride
It's a
up
perfect
the wall?
example
It
of
makes
you
no
have
sense.
the practical knowledge.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't read the language.
But
So it's like I see a totally different world from them
yes,
based on what I know.
yes.
Exactly. And I'm so sick. I like friends. I like family. I like people that are arrogant. But I just did it because later I called those people up as a joke. Well, I'm like, you remember? And they go, "Oh my God, you did tell us Spotify." And I said, "Yeah, but I didn't tell you why." "Oh my God, why didn't you tell me, you asshole?" And I'm like, because it's to make you fucking pay attention to what I say.
Isn't it funny when like I think Joe Rogan tweeted something about Jones being right? I think it was the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like you could tell them, be like, you should have listened.
But I don't. It's my sick sense of humor. I'm saying that. But that reason I raised that story is I kind of am mad at myself because I've never bought stock. Why didn't I do that? But it's just I don't think like that.
Because it was
Why didn't I do it?
dark energy, like you said, like corrupted, tainted. I think there's something about purity or honesty
Wow, I just realized.
that is
What?
maybe not more. I don't know. This is a challenging conversation.
No, I agree. Anytime you exactly once you get in that ocean, you're in it.
I
have nothing to do with it. Not because I'm even some purist. There's something about the stock market. It's so evil, man.
I remember when like around this time, and I learned about this, and I thought to myself like, wow, that stock's gonna skyrocket. And then I just like carried on with my
Dude,
day and like went and made a sandwich.
We talked
and just
about
totally forgot about
library.
everything. I'm not in that
social
world. I don't
network.
do stock. I
On
don't
a show
my
yesterday,
thing.
we talked about library, and their crypto went up 200% yesterday.
Yeah, it's
Could be
it's
coincidence.
a hot potato.
But when you talk like it's
Dude,
that connected.
I no, look, man. You know, one thing I really can't stand about the crypto stuff is that someone will go on a high-profile show with 100,000 viewers, concurrent, and be like, "This is the coin."
Wait, come on! You're telling me that everyone shouldn't go out and buy Ethereum right now? That Ethereum isn't a great
Well,
investment?
let me
for
say the
people?
problem.
I
Let me
think
do it.
Ethereum is really the best
it
way to
is
put your
good.
money, and it's a better store of money than Bitcoin, which is for losers.
Let me just say how this works.
Ethereum.
We all
ETH.
need new currencies. We all need blockchain. These are real sciences. We need new currencies. This is a libertarian view to free up markets and have our new systems to get out of the central banks. The problem is everyone's pumping a bunch of BS to make money on it going up in a pump and dump, and that's wrong.
And they want dollars. They don't want the crypto.
What
That's
if,
the
should,
thing.
it,
yeah.
should Pump and Dump be the name of that pay-per-view threesome that you
Yes,
have with
I like
Joe
that.
Yes.
and
That's
Dylan?
perfect.
So listen.
Oh my God!
This
Pump
is-
and dump.
This is
With
one of the
Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, and Tim Dillon. The
Oh my
ultimate
goodness.
gay orgy live.
the big problem.
Now that is an experience.
The big problem.
That's the Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon.
I think that's going to be on Pornhub.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The big
dump.
problem with crypto is that if crypto is going to be a viable currency outside of these central banks or the fiat stuff, people have to want it more than they want the fiat, but they don't. They want to buy the crypto, hoping that the dollar.
Yeah, it's
will get
all
more
pure
dollars out of it.
speculation. It's pure
Some crypto
speculation.
It's
is
not
good.
pure speculation. It has some functions that
Like,
people
some-
use.
But let me tell you,
for some of it.
Max Kaiser, you know who he is, right?
I don't.
Well,
You
he's
don't know
one,
Max.
He's one of the original guys. He tried to give me like $20 million of it or whatever. This is like 13 years ago at Bilderberg when it first came out. Or when did it first come out?
Oh, it was 2009, I think.
Yeah.
2008.
Or 11 years ago. I never heard of
You
it.
know what year? Luke? No, I think it's 2008.
Point is,
8 or
I
9
didn't
something.
do it because I got it was speculative. It doesn't mean I don't think it's not a real technology. I'm not going to lead my listeners to that.
No. Listen. Bitcoin is a tremendously valuable technology. It's very, very simple. If I want to transfer value from here to, say, Japan.
No, I get
instantly,
we need a different system.
It's like the normal system for
pump and
like
dump?
if you want to give someone in Europe, if I want to hire someone in Europe and pay them to do art, right? So I hired some European studio to do the animation for my video, for the music video I did. Then it's not particularly easy to transfer money from me to them.
By the way, that was a good video.
Oh, thank you. But
We
crypto
got banned that night. We played it. And
crypto is instant. So give me your address, boom, you've got it. You file your paperwork in your country, you deal with your taxes.
I agree, and everyone that's doing it, I agree, should trade in it.
But listen. The current price of Bitcoin is meaningless. If I take $200 and buy Bitcoin and then transfer it immediately to you in, say, Japan, you sell it immediately for $200.
No, that's the whole thing. You don't sell it. You start using it as a store of value.
What
No,
I'm
you
saying,
listen.
what I'm saying is
So does that mean dumping it or pumping it?
no.
Both.
Listen. People
Centipeding it.
right now are using Bitcoin to they'll go to someone and say, I'll take $100 of Bitcoin, send it to you, and you'll sell it for $100. That $100 transferred immediately, and there's intermediaries who make money off holding and trading.
Sure.
But
Sure,
we
just
get
like
the instant-
stocks, it's a trading makes the
That's
money.
why
it's-
everyone
it's-
should buy Ethereum.
The
It's
reason
it's
why
a simple way for me to transfer value instantly to
Yes.
you, and we don't care about the coin. But the problem is a bunch of other
S coins.
S coins. We already swore, so we'll just say it shit coins. And what they do is many of them do literally nothing, and they're Ponzi schemes. And
No,
they
I know.
try and
I've
back
been.
it with
I
some
told you
fake
the names.
garbage.
I've had major, not to name drop. It's just weird. Major Hollywood stars call me and go, "We'll pay you $1 million a week to promote this coin," and then I literally don't promote it, and like a month, 6 months later, they indict the guy that owns the company. I mean, I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm not touching any of this. I mean, that's what I'm telling you.
The reason why Ethereum is better than Bitcoin is because of smart contracts, which is a new type of technology that can be embedded in the coin. So what you can say is, when this Ethereum goes to this person, we're going to activate this program. So like, I want my power turned on this month. Instead of giving them $1 and hoping some human does it and trusting that there's a human there, when the coin goes, it automates the transaction. So that's the future of crypto.
Well, I want to be clear. All of this is the future. I love new currencies. I love it all. I'm just saying, just like the gold rush into California or the oil rush into Texas or Pennsylvania, there's always wildcatting and scams that go with the boom.
Yep.
Michael,
And I'm just saying,
do you think aliens use cryptocurrency? I'm just kidding.
I think aliens have all sorts of trading systems, mainly on raw material and ideas and data.
I heard that
No,
Star
they use
Trek is
music.
communism.
Well, it is. It's the UN symbol. When they talk about the
Star Trek?
the International Global Federation,
Star Trek isn't communism.
Star.
I didn't really mean to ignite this nerd debate, but it's not communism.
I wonder if they use electro lasers, like they vaporize materials and then shoot it with a laser to a receptacle where they cool it down back into the material.
Star Trek?
Aliens.
Oh, aliens.
All right, let's talk serious about this.
But the aliens?
Let's because here's the deal. See, we're trapped in this. I'm like Gilligan, who played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island. I'll always be Gilligan, or JR on
You're
Dallas,
clearly the skipper.
or Darth Vader.
Who are you fooling?
Well, who would you?
You know, I was wondering, Alex.
I'm a Marianne type guy. I like Marianne.
Yes,
She's the best.
Yeah,
Do-
she's
do-
approachable.
does your family have any like famous recipes or foods that you are proficient in producing?
God, my mother. When I was a kid, I was totally spoiled. When I was around 3 meals a day, 5-course dinners, gourmet cook. She doesn't cook that much. She cooks some now, like 1 meal a day. But my mother, I was brought up with the classic mother that was just badass. I mean,
Apple
like,
pie.
we're talking ironing my shirts and loving
Aw,
it,
that's
and
sweet.
like cooking 5-star meals
You're very lucky.
and everything else. So yeah,
I know you laughed when I asked the question. It's silly, but it's meant to be as basic as possible because, like you mentioned about being Gilligan, people have this image of you and you're one thing. And I'm like,
Gay frogs.
you've certainly baked a cake before, Alex. You know what I mean? Like you've certainly done yeah, exactly, gay frogs. You've certainly been a regular person doing regular things. We talked about this on the phone the first time we were setting up the show because I had mentioned how crazy it is that people like you're probably going to the grocery store to buy milk. And
I'm a
people-
lot more than just Alex Jones and Gay Frogs. I have my husband, Luke Radowski. Right
That's
over
right.
there.
He's also
loves
gay
you.
lizards and gay birds.
Getting serious. Getting
He's a
serious.
gay Dr. Doolittle.
No, but that's what they do is there's probably 5 memes that have, no exaggeration, 100 million views each, different things. And it's all the same. Like, I'll eat my neighbors, gay frogs. And then the gay neighbor thing I said, this is an allegory of like the road, Viggo Mortensen, the collapse of society. If you really go down this Malthusian road, we could be eating our neighbors. And okay, fine. I'm going to eat my neighbors. I'm sizing them up with a chain. I said before in the same 10-minute segment, I said before and after, this is theater.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Like they look for clips to take out of context to make a super cut.
We've just
But
had
you're
so
also
much.
big, Alex. You're also a performer. You know you're a performer. You act up in a certain
Yes,
way.
I believe in my political views. And then they go, oh, but you admit you're an actor in movies. Yeah, I'm an actor in that movie, Scanner Darkly or
Oh yeah,
I gotta ask you. My buddy played you in The Hunt. Did you watch that movie?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
It's a good movie. I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be bad. It was actually really funny.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that I'm on 2 episodes of 1,000 Ways to Die?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you guys know that show?
Yeah.
I was in 2. I was in one where a mime eats a pickle and then chokes to death.
Okay.
And they hired me as Skater Dude, and my line was sick, and I did the hang 10 thing. And the other one was I was a rapscallion punk with my young female friend, and we were skateboarding and drinking 40s in a park when a cop came up who was huffing paint, and then told us to leave and stole our drinks, and then dropped his gun and picked it up backwards and killed himself. This is a TV show.
I
by
may
the
have
way.
seen that.
Yeah, so I'm in these 2 episodes, and it was funny because I filmed them before Occupy Wall Street. My friend was an production assistant, so she was like, "We really need skater guy for these 2 episodes." So I went. I was like, "I'll definitely do it." I got paid like nothing. It was like $50, but then I went to Occupy Wall Street, where I actually meet this guy, Luke Radowski. I get a bunch of press attention, but it didn't air until like a year after we filmed it. And then everyone started accusing me of using my fame from Occupy to go to Hollywood to try and be an actor.
Oh, geez.
Actually, I remember hearing that. No, I heard the reverse. He's CIA. He's an actor.
Crisis actor. There's the proof. Yeah.
What, me?
Which, by the way, I barely ever
I love
talked
it.
about crisis actor stuff. Like, I'm not going to get in the name of the thing they always attack because I don't want to cover it. They're like, will you promise to stop talking about this event? I barely ever talked about it. I hate it. I'm like allergic to it. But it's listeners and it's random minority of people that do it.
It's always the minority.
But they can't recognize faces. So they think I'm Bo Bridges, they think I'm Bill Hicks, and they think everybody's a crisis actor.
So
You like
let
that? You like
so,
that?
so 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 no look. In that vein, when you mentioned
You're having
Gilligan,
fun,
also,
Alex.
well, let's do a
Like,
hard
who do you
segue.
actually look like?
I like the
Oh
Gilligan
my God,
allegory.
Genghis Khan. You're a crisis actor. You're really Genghis Khan.
You know what I heard is it makes
I am
you know,
a
you know-
gorilla. Kill yourself.
Let's
I am a
let's
gorilla.
let's
Murder yourself.
I think we have to actually just jump into aliens.
Yes, we have to.
Yeah.
Right?
It's never gonna happen.
Well, they're real. I mean, I can't prove that, but it feels
it.
like it. I think
Listen, stop right now. I am a gorilla. No. Let's get serious for a minute. I am going to prove aliens are real in the next 5 minutes. You guys go ahead and talk, and then I'm going to prove aliens are real and are on the planet, and that new ones are being made every day. Get
I'm ready.
All right, what's your favorite band, Michael?
Probably Blondie.
Is it really?
Yeah.
They're pretty good. Yeah. But
Call
that was like
me.
late 70s.
Call me.
Yeah, Heart of Glass. Call
I've
Me.
met Debbie a
Ring
few
My
times
Bell.
and she wasn't nice, but that's okay. She's
Really?
alright.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a bummer.
That's all right.
Yeah, I really like Muse. Muse is pretty good.
Muse is awesome.
You know Muse? Yeah, Muse is
They're more
fantastic.
contemporary.
Yeah, modern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
fantastic.
got to have
though.
a
They
bodyguard
do a
here to
great
protect me from Luke Radowski.
That's true. Yeah.
job. Yeah.
That's why I got like.
Who's your favorite band?
Interest-
What kind of
yeah.
music do you like, Alex?
You think I have enough big black bodyguards to be here?
I'd say so.
I thought it was one of those weird like church choirs behind you.
Yeah.
He
No, seriously.
actually has a bunch of security guards here. He's not
totally
not
does,
joking.
yeah.
Security. Yeah.
No, so we've
Why they
talked.
gotta be black?
We've had some light chatter.
Here's the
Can
problem. You don't
prove
tell
the-
them no.
Can you
so
prove
I
the-
said these are great people. Great people. But the thing is, I will need them tomorrow with Antifa at this big rally.
Nice.
They will try to attack us. So they're not lazy. They're like, hey, you guys take the night off, have dinner. No, we're going with you. So they're good guys. They're great people.
What-
And then we definitely need them. You know, Antifa attacked everybody 3 weeks ago after our big march, like
Yeah.
500,000 people. They were like beating up women and children. So they'll need these guys tomorrow. They're going to be earning their money tomorrow. But they're definitely. I kind of feel
So-
guilty. Like I have these huge dudes.
Did you
taking
come in-
on like 10 people apiece.
Did you come in heavy? You come heavy?
They can't answer.
He's heavy. Yeah.
They can't answer.
day.
No.
So
Anyways.
are you gonna prove aliens now?
Oh,
It hasn't
no.
been 5 minutes.
That's true. It hasn't.
Who are
Listen,
your,
I'm gonna lay on you some shit.
Literally, is this how the human
Oh my
centipede started?
gosh.
I mean,
Listen, I don't want you. Okay, I want Luke Radowski.
have you guys ever studied?
And you shall have him.
Well, no. He's got to prove aliens exist.
That's
Come
right.
on.
You think about
Hold on.
cymatics. Have you
Well,
ever
you're
seen?
gonna prove aliens exist.
Luke is our son. Princess Leia. I am Darth Vader.
Luke. Luke is your son. I've been saying that.
What is happening?
He's our son.
So the Israeli former
Princess
head of
Leia. You are Princess Leia.
me.
Oh yeah,
That's
he does
wonderful.
look like her.
I am Darth Vader. You know what that means?
Luke is your son.
I have to kiss Luke.
No, it means he likes killing children.
Yeah, the Sith yes.
Younglings. Israeli
Young
former head
friend
of.
Obi-Wan
You see,
Kenobi.
you were the one who told me you were like, I'm getting pigeonholed. I'm Gilligan. I want to talk about space programs. And I'm like,
now
okay.
I really want to just make gay jokes all the
Oh, I see
Jokes.
that.
he's
The former head of the Israeli security space program
Let's
has
get
come
serious.
out saying that the
Let's
Galactic
start over.
Federation
Hold
is
on,
real.
hold on.
That's what
I'm
Tim's
no
doing.
longer a gorilla.
I am a gorilla. Murder yourself. All right, sorry. Stop.
All right, all right.
Let's get serious. As serious as me bringing a bunch of huge security dudes to your house. What's the point of that? It's fun.
I thought it was. I was like, that's kind of interesting. We're in the middle of nowhere. Are you worried about me?
I want to intimidate you. Okay?
Wait, maybe he's
I
worried
thought,
about me.
I thought you were intimidated.
No. I am scared. No, they're professionals.
Yeah, man.
I need protection from Tim Pool.
That's true.
Dude, people don't know that Tim Pool can like pull your heart out with jiu-jitsu and kung
Kalima.
fu. Like you've heard a lot of stuff.
I
It's
think
like,
he's more taekwondo.
Kalima. Hua.
I actually took kung fu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let me get
Briefly.
serious.
Yes.
I'm going to prove to you aliens right now.
Let's do it.
You want to hear this?
Yep.
Yes.
Alien simply means not of this world or new, correct?
Okay.
Oh, no. You want to debate that, Mr. Malice?
No, but I feel like if you're going to do linguistic jujitsu, this is not going where we thought we was going to go.
Are you
Are the Greys real?
in league with Luke Radowski?
I am. Well, we are in one league, probably looking
Luke's
at
not
him.
even saying anything. You keep pulling
We
him
need
into
that
this.
I think we're
Trinity.
ready to have a mignon in a
No,
second.
we're going to get him in here. All right, well, let me get serious.
I am a gorilla.
I am a gorilla. Murder yourself.
Stop distracting.
This has been 10 minutes of you saying this.
It's going to be 40.
No, that'll be a fact check. The show is banned. He's not a gorilla.
He's not actually a gorilla.
They're gonna-
We're not
it's-
supposed to have fun with you assholes in big tech. Listen, let me get serious. I will prove to you aliens right now. Okay, let's cover it right now. You know they have the theories that humans came from being seated here on Earth.
Yeah.
They established in the
Yes.
New York Times as our panspermia,
Yes.
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But these are like regular scientific theories that like fungus came down and like crashed on Earth through meteorites.
And
stuff
the
like
reason
that, right?
is it kind of violates the laws of entropy. Like, you don't have any simple system that spontaneously becomes more complex. It's always the complex systems break down. So something's not adding up. It's
And to add to that, life is negative entropy insofar as it creates more entropy as
Yes.
life is created. You know, so there's always more entropy being created. Continue, good sir.
No, exactly. So obviously, like the mainline Baptist preacher doesn't get it, but he goes, I didn't come from a monkey, and you don't find a Swiss watch out in the middle of Sahara Desert. Well, but that's actually true. But it doesn't mean his 6,000-year-old models are right. We know that's BS. And it doesn't mean like they're claiming that, 50 million years ago this happened. They don't know. There's actually jumps in evolution.
Yeah.
And that's what we know. Like something's going on here. Evolution's real. And all of a sudden, totally like in a thousand years stuff.
It's
Totally,
called the Cambrian explosion, right? Like
Where we have this fossil layer of all of these different species that emerged around the same time.
yeah, it's just,
over and over again. So let's talk about that first. Then I'll give you the alien proof.
So
You're
yeah,
smart
there's-
guys. You
there's-
know all
there's-
this. General public just thinks I make this up. You guys know it. Each
That's true,
step,
yeah.
you know the next step. I'll give you the next step after that.
Yeah, the Cambrian explosion. I don't know how do we
the,
elaborate
Bur-
beyond
the
that.
Burgess Shale's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, like evolution is not happen at a single rate. It has these weird spikes, and it's not at all clear what would cause these spikes to occur.
And like the formation of the solar system happened in one moment, it looks like, in 3
And now they know matter's going both directions. Big Bang's not true. There's a bunch of bangs going on.
like popcorn.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, one thing I went and saw this lecture from this scientist guy. He said he took it to a religious place, which I didn't agree with, but he talked about
gorilla.
That's right, you are. He talked about the astronomical odds by which we exist on Earth. And he said something like, what you need to realize is that Jupiter is a filtration system for the solar system, keeping away the asteroid belts.
It grabs
and
all
debris.
the comets, all the,
Right.
exactly, yeah.
And stops them from hitting us.
And the moon's at the perfect spot for us. We're like the perfect spot.
You know what's
okay, this
great?
is such a logical fallacy. Are you seriously going down this road?
Because you'll argue out of billions of star systems, it's
No.
not that
I
we
said
are-
he took it to a religious place. I don't agree with.
No, I'm saying it's not that Earth is special. It's not we're here
the
because
puddle.
it's not.
There's trillions of
Hold on, hold on,
galaxies,
hold
so
on.
there's going to be a few spots where it's
No,
perfect.
stop. I don't want you to misinterpret me. Do you know the I don't know what you call it, the allegory of the puddle?
No.
There's a puddle of water, and it looks around and says, "I fit perfectly in this hole in the
Right,
ground.
exactly.
This puddle,
Yes,
this hole was
yes,
made for me."
right.
No, I
Not
get it.
realizing
I
that-
get it. Just because
Yes.
we're in this
So
very
this is what I-
special
this is-
position doesn't mean it is special because there's so much stuff going
It's
on.
special because we're here. It's not that we're here because it's
The point I was
special.
making
Yeah.
is that there was a guy who was giving this speech to me talking about how the position of Jupiter, the position of the moon, all of these things are so astronomical, it must prove.
Oh,
And I said,
that's the exact opposite.
no,
yes.
it's the opposite.
No, this
We're
is
in
where the
puddle.
environment exists to let it happen.
yeah,
Exactly. If it wasn't for Jupiter, life couldn't have emerged here.
right.
But-
And nothing
And
about Earth
Saturn,
is
it
special
pulls
than
in
we
a lot
are
of the
here. Yeah.
stuff.
Interesting theory about how they got formed. Apparently, a long time ago, either it was a binary star system that collided, and then because of a Z pinch, it ejected all this matter into what we now know as the solar system. 24 rocky bodies of planets all colliding into each other. Giant gas bubble, like Saturn still has a heat signature inside it, like it's an old star. And it was either from a binary collision.
Yeah, that's
or,
the whole 2001 detonating Lucifer is supposed to be Saturn. I think they do Jupiter in the movie, but yeah, that's detonating Lucifer is to reignite that star.
All right, so what's the next step, Alex? The aliens.
Okay, well, let's just say it. You're like, oh, of course we know that once I say it. The globalists have said, we know there's jumps in evolution. We're going to artificially take control of human evolution. And so when they take different families of bacteria and plants and animals and mix them and create chimeras, which have been going on for more than 50 years, it's all admitted now.
Lichen is an example of this.
That's a natural chimera.
Yes.
And like a jellyfish is also a...
what's
a-
that?
Not a siphonophore.
No,
yes.
no, what's
Portuguese man of war.
Man of War, that's right.
Yeah, it's
like
not a
four,
jellyfish.
It's like four different things mashed
Yes,
together.
correct.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a colony creature.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so the globalists are all into this, and this is what they're obsessed with. But
So they want to make a human centipede.
Well, I
there's
could
a deal.
think
There's
three
a-
people I could suggest.
with the big knowledge, there's interdimensional colony creatures, and we're only one level of a colony creature, and that's what the globalists actually believe. This is like the highest level stuff.
This is what I was talking about with the elves, how we're 3D manifestations of 4D being.
Right.
But here's the next thing. So they're all creating. You could say, well, if you take fungus and a plant and a bug and mix it together, you can still say it's off the earth, so it's not alien. But with nanotech and with CRISPR editing, they are now creating, with computers at thousands of labs, pure research, scrambling genetics together and making new creatures which are alien and have never existed on this planet. So we're building the aliens here now. That's fact. Whoa. Aliens are here. We're building them. And you can say we're like a dimensional superintelligence gate that can't help but create, and like Atlantis, whether Atlantis was real or not.
Are those aliens or are they just artificial life forms?
They are. They're artificial life forms, but
I don't know if you can call them
but by the
artificial life forms.
definition,
If they're made by man?
listen, here's the deal. By the definition is it's never been on the planet. It's totally new and it's mathematically created
have you
with
seen
artificial machines.
Have you seen the glowing mice?
That's
yeah,
just jellyfish
part
genes.
jellyfish. Yeah.
Right. But that's like very rudimentary based on what you're saying.
By the way,
they've made mice that
Did
glow
you know
in dark.
the big vaccine that just got approved in England? The Pfizer vaccine has jellyfish genes in it.
What? But you can go to any Petco and have glow-in-the-dark tetras which have jellyfish genes.
I know, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Here's an example. We own a ranch in East Texas. We've had since 1820s. Literally bought it from the Mexicans, okay? We're one of the only ranches now. No, seriously, we bought it from Mexico.
I like how you said we bought it from the Mexicans.
No, seriously, we bought it from the Mexicans. I'm saying it's that long. See how, like, under political correctness, he was saying, we bought it from the Germans. We bought it from the Russians. We bought it from the Japanese. I bought it from the Mexicans. Now it's bad. See how we are, like, self-noting that if I talk
Michael,
about...
you bigot.
You have to go back.
Bought it
I'm
from
not mad. No, it's
some
interesting.
Mexicans.
We've got an old ranch,
Exactly.
okay? We've got an old ranch. And
Where is your sombrero?
actually, cowboy hats are from...
That's true. He's right.
Are
Yeah.
from Spain and Mexico, and actually we think of Western stuff as like an Anglo thing. That's actually Hispanic.
And the pedal steel guitar came from Hawaii.
Oh, a lot of it, yeah. Well, the banjo came from, or guitar came from Spain.
Yeah.
Wow.
But what I'm getting at here is that most of the ranches around us, is we kind of got regular just beef cows, not fancy, enough to pay the taxes. But now, 20 years ago, they were doing artificial insemination, 40 years ago, all that. Now, almost all the ranches around us are cloned cows.
Is that right?
No way.
Yeah, no.
I thought that was illegal.
No, what I'm telling you is it's already mainline, dude. The bulls are cloned. Then they artificially inseminate, create clones of the biggest cows.
I thought cloning was illegal in the
Wait a
US.
minute. If it's artificial insemination, that's not cloning.
No. I'm saying 40 years ago they were doing artificial
Oh,
insemination.
okay.
I've done artificial insemination.
If you have sex with Tim Dillon, I guess it's artificial insemination.
No, when I was a
Only
kid,
if you force
they
them
used to
to.
send me when I was like 10 and 11, 12 to work at this big ranch.
Alex Jones is 100% correct.
Oh, snap.
Clone farms have been around for some time, apparently.
Who knew?
What is this?
Incredible.
But I'm
They're
just telling you,
literally
my
down to their
family's in
genes.
the beef business, okay? And I'm telling you that
22
we're like one of the
clones.
only ranches in the area that doesn't have cloned cows, dude.
Would
We're-
you clone
the
cows?
future's already here is what I'm saying.
That was 10 years. That was 11 years ago. I didn't know that.
Do you
That's
think
crazy.
that we're like committing genetic modification in order to easily connect with external forces?
I'll tell you what happens.
Oh, boy.
These big corporate...
Dude, I'm sorry. I just want to read this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Validate what Alex is saying.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 2008 approved the sale of food from clones and their offspring, stating the products are indistinguishable from that of their non-clone counterparts.
Twins are clones.
Japan, the European Union, and others followed suit. The moves have stirred controversy about whether tinkering with nature is safe or even ethical, prompting major food companies to swear off food products from cloned animals.
But no one... Yeah.
But the thing is,
Clone
twins are
cow
clones.
meat?
Twins are natural
Are we
clones.
eating
But
clone
guys,
burgers?
let me give you the big news. What I'm telling you is we know the big ranches. We sold them, one of the biggest ranches, we sold them 10,000 acres like, in the 60s. It's clones now, dude. And here's the crazy part. They now have clones breeding with clones that aren't even made in a laboratory. But what you do is, and I used to work there.
But I don't understand, Alex. If two clones breed, then the new offspring is going to have new genes.
Right, not clones.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's a hybrid.
Right.
A clone
But
spring.
But let me tell you, listen. I'm 9 years old the first time that my dad goes, you're going for a month this summer to work at this big famous ranch. I'll leave it there. Okay, it's by our ranch. Our ranch is small compared to this. I go in. There's a guy who looks like Santa Claus. He's a vet, famous vet.
Wait, you got shipped off at 9 years old to work at a ranch?
Yeah, just during the summer.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell you this story. I come in. This guy's got a Santa Claus beard. Looks like Santa Claus. He's drinking whiskey at 7 a.m. in the morning. And it's a huge white laboratory with squeeze chutes and all these cows, these giant black Angus cows. And he goes, watch this. And they start running them in. He's artificially inseminating them. He's palpating them to see what's going on. He explained to me genetic engineering. I'm like, why am I here? Oh, I like your dad. That's why I get to see this. So I meet the guy later. He's working for another ranch. The point was, this is all going on. And then I was there when the cloned animals started coming in 30 years ago.
What Alex, what we need to stress is from this article, it's not just cloning, it's genetically modified animals.
Okay.
Check this
Yeah,
quote
they're
out.
not all just clones. Exactly.
Check this quote out. This is from Reuters.com. I want everyone to look at this, and I want to show you the NewsGuard certification. That's Microsoft, okay? Boom. 95 out of 100. You know it's legit. It's Reuters.com.
Bill Gates said so. It's true.
Quote, if you don't need as much corn to feed your cattle, you might be able to cut back on the amount of fertilizer put out there on the countryside that might end up in a river. You can cut the amount of diesel that's spent raising that corn. Just like they improve the genetics of corn, so they can produce more bushels per acre. We're trying to do that same type of thing by using cloning and superior genetics to produce more meat with less input.
And so, but the point is, the banks just give you the money. Here's what happens. If you do the cloning, they leave you alone. Like, here's an example. I can go to a ranch with all the white-tailed deer I want and do whatever I want any time of the year, because I know the people in the state, and they've got these huge 12,000 acre ranches and stuff. It's all a ruling class, man. It's all genetic engineers. It's all scientists. It's all a joke. And my dad got led into it when he was like 13, 14 years old. And then, and I'm telling you, man, it's a whole super scientist deal. Like, I only saw like the first levels of it. 15 years ago, Kevin Booth, and I'll just go ahead and say his name, talk about Bill Hicks. He was Bill Hicks' producer. He got me into the UT psychology department. And I was like, why are they go, they want you to be here. And I went into the UT psychology department, and there was this guy that later went on to work for MIT, high level. I didn't realize he was a major CIA operative. He goes, hey, let me just show you all this secret DARPA stuff. And they were so smart, they knew what I was probably going to do in the future with the trajectory. And they were like, and Kevin didn't even know what they were showing us. It was like DARPA programs and mind control programs and monkey farms and all this stuff, like at a 5-hour tour of the classified area of UT. And I'm saying is, I was low level. Imagine what you get when you're higher level.
Yeah.
My dad, at 15, was like top of his class, and he volunteered for this science program with NASA.
Oh, here we go. Here's the backstory of Alex Jones.
Well, no, this is a true story. Well, you call it MK Ultra, what I didn't want to call it, but whatever he was involved in, this is real stuff here.
Here's the blue puzzle piece falling into place.
This is the blue puzzle piece falling into place?
Yes, sir.
That's the name of the boat's puzzle piece? No, but it wasn't that special. They were getting all the best kids who wanted to, on the back of their cereal box, join NASA. So my dad's like 14. He writes off to it. I want to do this. Next, an 18-wheeler shows up from Union Carbide with a ruby laser design. And they say, okay, kid, build this laser. My dad builds it, writes a report. They hire him. Now he's at MD Anderson Cancer Research
Wait, your
Facility.
dad built a laser at age 15?
Yeah, ruby laser.
How?
What was your dad's name?
David Jones.
But
David Jones.
how did he know how to
Davy
build a
Jones.
laser at age 15? That's amazing.
No, they sent him the blueprints. And,
Oh, okay. So it's like IKEA almost, like to really dumb it. Like to
well, no, it was a
use that
test.
example.
It was a test.
Okay,
So
got
the
it.
18-wheeler shows up.
Okay.
And then, like, his mom was a big scholar and all this stuff. But the point is, 18-wheeler shows up at the farm. No, Eisenhower had funded this.
Okay.
He just left office, but it was an Eisenhower program. So my dad wrote off, he part of NASA. And so he went and did some things and went and gave some, got tested and stuff. And next it was like, let's see what you do with an 18-wheeler and a laser design.
Oh,
So he builds this ruby laser. And the next thing they go, okay, why don't you go work at MD Anderson? You're out of high school. He's at 15, but you're out of high school, kid. He's in MD Anderson. My dad told me it was in cancer research. People with no mandibles.
Oh,
Okay,
my God.
huge. He didn't tell me a lot of this until I got older. Total secret research stuff. And then by 16, he's at Plan 2 UT. They go, let's show you the secret reactor under the building. They take him under their secret nuclear reactors, CD-ROMs, computers, flat screen TVs. My dad didn't tell me all this till 2007. Okay, I already knew all this, and finally he leveled up with me and told me about this whole secret government program, all the rest of it. But that's true story, and it gets crazier than that. I remember being at the table when I was 10 years old in Dallas, and they were trying to hire my dad, and all the top dental implant doctors in Dallas, they were hiring his friends. Okay. They were hiring his friends because my dad had been involved with some of those groups and things. And my dad did like the dental work for the CIA because they had like when they do for high level CIA guys, you got to have guys in the room and all that. And he did the dental work for the CIA. I can't believe I'm telling you this, but this is all true. And so they're doing all this work, and they wanted him to come to Maryland to Site R. And I remember my mom sitting there going, David, I don't want $500,000 a year, and I'm not going to have you a month in, 2 weeks out in an underground base in Maryland. And my dad's like, well, it's important cybernetic cyborg stuff, and it's for the country. It's to stop the Russians. We got to do it. And my mom said, I'm going to divorce you. My mother was never like this. She goes, we're not moving to Maryland. In fact, she goes, I want to go to Austin. I'll be with my mother. I'm sick of Dallas, and I'm sick of these people. We are not moving to Maryland. And so I'm hearing my dad at 10 talking about cyborgs, man. And my dad didn't even join the program. He wasn't even in this stuff. He just got recruited on the outside of it, got out of it, but because he was in that, here's the CIA deputy director, you're going to be his dentist now. And, so this is the type of stuff that goes on. It's how the system that wants you, it gets you. My dad's going to, he probably won't get mad at me telling the story.
How do we go
I
from
want him on the show.
cloned animals to...
Bring him on the show next time.
Because his dad was involved with send him at age 9 to the ranch. I've been
Yeah.
following
My
this
dad
stuff.
won't talk about any of this stuff.
Check this out. This is from just... this is just
No, but it's a scientific elite. He was just low level. This is a scientific elite. And Gates and Fauci and them are in the elite. My dad just got recruited low level, never got into it. Because he didn't believe in war. My dad was like, by the time he was at UT in like 18, he's like, I'm done. I'm not for war. I'm not for all this. He got out of it. So that's what I'm telling you is that this is how it all works.
Let me read this. This is really interesting. In 2015, the Chinese company Boya Life announced that in partnership with the Korean company Suam Biotech, they were planning to build a factory in Tianjin, China to produce 100,000 cloned cattle per year, starting in 2016 to supply China's growing market for quality beef.
Look up their super pigs that look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That
Look
was
up-
from
that's the
Family
double-
Guy, wasn't it?
No, it's
No,
real.
they're
Chinese super clone pigs.
They have a mutation called the myostatin deficiency. So if it's a double myostatin deficiency, they're gonna develop muscle at a very high rate. There's also a whippet dog that has it, and these bulls.
Yeah, they look like bodybuilders.
Yeah.
So this is what you get when you go to Bloomberg.
Not
Hey, it's
NewsGuard
that's our new
approved.
vice president.
This is Bloomberg. This is absolutely NewsGuard approved.
Oh.
That's
This is
amazing.
China's mutant pigs could save the nation from pork apocalypse.
See, they're going to save us.
Yeah, they're talking about the gene research genetically engineered pigs, and Bloomberg made this wonderful animation of this doofy looking pig flying around with a cape
Let me
on.
tell you the last story about my dad. So he's 18. They wait till you're 18. And he'd already volunteered for Vietnam. And they said, no, you're not going to Vietnam. We have something else for you. And the head of the UT botany department calls my dad in. My dad had known him for like 4 years. And he says, David, you and these other 5 people are the best in the state. And we're eugenicists. We're going to bring in world government. We're going to depopulate the planet. We're not like the Nazis. We're going to target certain races. We're going to target everybody that's dumb. And my dad was actually given that speech by the head of the UT botany department.
When was it?
I have to ask this.
About 1967.
If your dad told you this in confidence, right? How would he feel that you're saying this publicly?
He knows now.
Okay.
I mean, they already. I mean, do I tell the rest of the story?
Yes.
Well, I had an uncle. I'll leave it at that.
This is like.
You had an uncle once.
Go ahead.
So I.
No,
Wait, don't cut him. I want to hear the rest of this.
Oh, I
don't
thought,
you?
I thought it was done. By all
Well, no,
means.
I had an uncle that was a highly decorated Vietnam pilot. He had 6 Silver Stars, clandestine operations in Laos and Cambodia. He was one of the best helicopters they ever had, helicopter pilots. And then he got recruited in Iran-Contra. And he was a leader in that. And then he saw some bad stuff and got out of it. And then that's the rest of the thing. So, I mean, that's not that big a deal. That's like industrial level. Like Texas is like where they get most of the muscle. Like, for whatever reason, like it's heavily recruited. And it's
But
like,
the point is, if this is something he didn't tell you until 2006, obviously it was a big deal to him to keep it quiet for you for that long.
2007.
Sorry.
I'm at my office, and I've got Endgame, which is, I think, my best film. And I'm sitting there watching it. We're going to a ballet reception for my first daughter. She's like 17 now. God, time flies. And my mom and dad come in. We're about to go to the reception in an hour. And I've got on a big screen TV the end of Endgame about globalism, world government depopulation, and quotes. My mother looks at my dad, and she goes, David, this isn't true, is it? And he goes, yeah, it is actually true. So I knew about some of this stuff.
Okay.
And then we get in the car to drive to the ballet reception, and my dad goes, yeah, it's all true. They brought me in the room. They told me all this. It's all true. I was part of this program. And he goes, it's not other people in the program. The point is, they get everybody in the program, dude. It's not like he was somebody special. Anybody that was high IQ and top of the chart, they recruited.
Let me ask you this: do you have any insight as to what really is there something we're not told about how the Cold War ended? Because the Cold War was the best gift to the military complex ever. They can spend infinite money every year. It's like the Russians.
Yeah, the Russians got sick of it and figured out fighting them made us stronger, not them, and they gave up.
Okay.
Because they knew that we'd put the Bolsheviks in 1917. They knew the left had taken over, and they were sick of it. And there was a secret rebellion of Orthodox Christians, and the CIA had used Christians to infiltrate Russia, but the program went too well. And so Christianity ended the Cold War. Not blue jeans and not Miller Lite.
Okay. Huh.
Didn't Gorbachev do a pizza commercial? That was Gorbachev.
Yeah,
right?
perestroika, they'd already collapsed. The Russians, 90% of the Russians weren't buying into it.
Oh, that's definitely true. Yeah.
It had fallen. And then Bush Sr. and them were trying to prop up Yeltsin to act like, oh, there's been a revolution, perestroika. Poland had pulled out. Eastern Europe had left Russia. And so it had failed already. They were looking for an exit that was not as embarrassing.
Okay.
And so that was perestroika, and Yeltsin, came after that, and then Putin, Luke Radowski's father, came after that. And
Is he a tough father-in-law?
He is.
Putin.
Luke, get over here right now.
Join
Luke's
us.
chilling. He's been on the show this past week or
I
so.
know. I've been watching.
Luke's gonna
Hey,
watch.
take
okay.
over for me for a few
He's
minutes.
stalking me.
So we need to expand the studio. We've been working on it. We got some new stuff coming in.
No,
we
but
want
I-
to have more.
You got a beautiful studio.
Well, if we want to get,
There's one rule though. You said bang the table.
bang it
Don't-
as hard as you
don't
don't
bang
bang
the
the
table.
table.
Don't kick
That's the
baby.
only real rule because people just like get carried away and start slamming the table.
No, 'cause it is a
so-
thin
so-
table. It will make it one of those.
What would you say is like the biggest or like the most important secret? And
Ooh, that's a great question.
let me rephrase this though. But like we're talking about these CIA programs, we're talking about the Cold War and all this stuff, and then even potentially aliens and interdimensional stuff and fourth dimensional projections. Where does it all come together? Like what's going on?
Well, let's talk about that. When I talk about interdimensional information, that's in the Sanskrit, that's in the Babylonians, that's in all the ancient cultures said there are these creatures that come through the ether and manifest on our side of
like
the wall.
like the jinn.
The jinn, exactly, in Arabic lore. But when you get to the globalists, Skull and Bones is they are in coffins, they are taking drugs, they are hallucinating in a German death cult that's thousands of years old in Germany and set up in 1832 in New Haven, Connecticut. They take this very seriously. So I was at Bohemian Grove and stuck into that. I'm like, this is stupid. This is just some type of Faustian deal. But I was there with over 1,000 men during this hour-long ritual, and they were like raptured. I went to Pentecostal churches when I was a kid. I went to Baptist churches. I've never seen people so raptured and so obsessed.
So I wanted to ask you because when you were on Rogan, I think not the last like maybe 2 times ago, the big one you did on YouTube where you talked about the interdimensional aliens and 5G or whatever and hybrids. How does that tie into Cold War military funding?
Well, General Stubblebine was the head of U.S. Special Operations. And then after that, he was the head of basically all Army operations. And I interviewed Stubblebine probably 10 times before he died. He was like a 3-star general, 4-star general, I forget. And he couldn't release classified info, but he basically, they made Men Who Stare at Goats about him, but that's a whitewash about what really happened. And they admit, even in John Ronson's book, which is a whitewash, that they killed goats with their brains. They were doing it on a routine basis.
With their brains?
They would
Like
stare
they
at a
were
goat,
like-
and-
Yeah,
like a
follow
2-year-old healthy
Is that
goat.
what that movie's about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a big whitewash, but they would kill goats. with their
Wait, so like the Men Who Stare at Goats, that movie is about like psychic people killing goats or whatever?
Yeah, but they make a joke out of it.
Right.
Kind of like you take a video of me shooting somebody in the head with a 45 and blowing their brains out. They show a video of me shooting somebody with a squirt gun. They make a joke about it. But they 100%. The Russians, by the end of the Cold War, were like spending half their budget on this stuff because they'd seen results. And of course, there's all these carnival barkers and gypsy scammers and whatever, and Pentecostal scammers that are out there doing stuff. But there's a real power. There's a real other dimension to the thought processes. And so that's what I'm talking about is that this has been studied. This has been looked at. This is what's going on. And this is what the establishment, let me tell you, you guys are pretty prominent reporters, but you know a lot of people. I know a lot of billionaires. I know a lot of rich women, billionaire, like heiresses and stuff. All they're doing all day is occultic stuff and religious stuff and psychic stuff. This is the whole world. Like at a David Rockefeller or a Bill Gates level, he says he's doing science. But let me tell you, behind the scenes, it's all occult. It's all hidden. They're all trying to figure out that super factor because they realize that the brain is picking up all this other stuff. And they want to understand that because it's that magic ingredient that is the ether.
Is DMT the secret to getting that information?
I've not taken DMT. But when you have low oxygen dreams, it's released.
Yes.
And if you other things, it's released. So I have DMT type dreams all the time, and absolutely, I think that if you're already a loser and already had a bad life and never had good experiences, and I'm not saying you're a loser, but you're a loser because you never had good experiences, DMT or anything is going to exacerbate it and make it worse. But if you are really dialed into things and really touching in the universe, it's going to accelerate everything 1,000 times and really tear the veil aside, and that's the key. I remember, this is the Clockwork Elf story, and this is my parents are, this is like standard stuff known in the intelligentsia. It's not like my parents were that special. My mom had a friend who lived in San Francisco who was involved in a big international psychedelic institute, which is really a government funding program through the university there at Berkeley and several others. And I remember at the dinner table when I was like 7, 8, 9 hearing this, and then my mom went to Arkansas once on a road trip, and I'm in the back of the Volkswagen Beetle listening to this woman who was involved in these projects tell my mother about, we're trying to map it, and there's these elves, and there's these other groups, and we're doing it intravenously, and she's talking about DMT. She wasn't calling it DMT, but she's talking about like astronauts trying to map all this. And I was on Rogan 2 years ago. A few months later, I had a professor on going, actually, we're starting trials at universities with intravenous drip. It's like once I said that, then it was like, okay, Jones already released it. Not that Rogan was involved. They went ahead and talked about it. And so, this woman was involved in all this stuff, okay? And so I'm here listening about the Clockwork Elves and Terrence McKenna and Timothy Leary and their projects and the FBI and the CIA. And my mom's not involved in this. She's talking to this woman who was one of her best friends, and she's hearing all of this. And I'm driving up to Arkansas on a 4-day trip with them to stay at the Arlington or whatever in Hot Springs, and I'm listening to these women talk about like these astronauts and how they're going to another dimension and how they're mapping it and how they'll have like 10 of these. The term they used was like explorers, and they're all seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why they knew this is real, because they're not all having some group hallucination. They're all in hospital beds doing this, going and seeing this stuff and trying to map it. And the problem is like a 50-second or a minute-long trip's not enough. So these people are signing on, and they went further. And I didn't look for my family. I did research. I moved like Flatliners or something in the 80s. They have people that have their hearts turned off because they found turning the heart off is even more to go deeper into this. And so then they pump the blood through a machine, and these people actually go into death to have near-death experiences and to be sent into these dimensions and communicate. And then that's what you learn about the Satanists, other occult groups, and the Aztecs and others were doing sacrifices to, like, these entities want blood. They want energy. They want that sacrifice. And then they come and then they give you data. Like you read the old Graham Grimoire's Black Magic books, and it's all, you sacrifice a child, then the demon appears, and then you ask it, where's buried treasure? Or how do I defeat this political enemy? They were asking dumb questions. Well, now it's like, how do I create the ultimate weapon? Well, here's the equation, the atomic bomb. And then you learn, like, what's his name?
How do these these demons and dimensional beings have this information?
Well, here's an example. I'm sitting there like 30 years ago watching Access TV in Austin. There was some preacher, I forget his name, who was only on Austin on Access TV. He's got all the books of, I gotta find that guy. He's got all the books, like some nerd dude. He was super smart. All the books of Charles Darwin. And I'm like, wait, I remember reading, I've read the Theory of Species or whatever it is. I know about Charles Darwin. He has all these books. So it was so crazy what he said. There was no internet then, really. I went to the library. They didn't have it. They said, go to UT. I went, and I found a scan in their microfilm of this book from like 1880 or whatever of Charles Darwin, where he had a hallucination in South America, and these entities through the veil told him how it all happened and what was going to happen and what he should do. And here's this preacher saying demons took him over and they told him how to do it. And he called them aliens, but they weren't. And they told him how it all worked. And then I didn't believe it. It was like, this Charles Darwin was in communication with aliens. I want to know this. I went to the library and found the book he wrote talking about the hallucinations he had where the demons told him this. I mean, it's like...
Isn't all this infinitely more interesting than current events?
Yes.
Absolutely. I am trapped by Trump, and I have nothing against Trump. I'm not like, oh, wimp now turning against Trump. It's the opposite. I'm sick of it because only talk about Trump. Only talk about the Texas case.
It's so one-dimensional. And,
Yes.
and now it's like, we're to use that as a sort of pun, we're talking about I guess, bigger questions about the universe. And what I find most fascinating about
Oh my! I'm validating what Alex said. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you.
Yeah, what do you got?
Charles Darwin had something that they think is called Charles Bonnet syndrome, a condition where visual hallucinations occur.
wow.
Yeah, no.
So what you're saying is that he was actually seeing, he could see through the veil?
No. I was watching a preacher at like 18. This guy was on, I forget his name. I still remember his his face, everything. It was like this little nerd, dark hair, but he was on every day on Access. And he had all these books. He's like, and Charles Darwin was having hallucinations with aliens. They were demons. And I'm like, this is BS. So I finally went down and met the dude. He was showing me some of the stuff. That's another story. And then I went to his church, and then the main preacher had a heart attack. It was weird. I left the church, but I only went there a couple times. But the point was, I went down to UT once I found the name of the book. I mean, I went down there. I'm like, Charles Darwin was having communications with what he believed were off-world entities? That's what Darwin thought. So I went to see it and read it for myself. And I'm like, why was I never told this? This is insane. I mean, whether he was crazy or not, the whole foundation of our whole system is based on this, and no one's telling you Charles Darwin had 110 fever and a 3-day hallucination and like communicated with the aliens.
The interdimensional beings.
That same that same preacher.
So when we
That
talk,
same preacher had New York Times articles that I can't find of a major rock band in New York sacrificing a young boy. And then and then I went and looked it up and couldn't find it. So maybe
he's not real.
But he had the Charles Darwin thing turned out real.
Some things can be true. I don't know. Maybe he was like, here's.
But I'm just saying, there's been a lot of crazy.
I used to think that information was passed by light and that we're receiving it into our brains, electromagnetically. But I'm wondering if it's like a lower vibration, a lower frequency, like alpha waves.
No, the elves say everything's music.
Do they really?
Yeah.
What does that mean, though?
Yeah, it's all like it's
What
like
is that?
it's like gonging clocks and bing bong ding bang.
Yeah,
bong,
and also
ding,
that
bang.
music and math, music affects both part of your brain, right? Because it's mathematical, so it's got a pattern to it, but it's also the artistic part of the brain. So basically,
Christmas music's what it sounds like.
I think they mean it metaphorically. So
No, but I'm telling you, that's what it's like. You're like choral music and like clocks chiming. I think that's what they.
But I just mean as a metaphor in the sense.
That's why they call it Clockwork Elves. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Is that right? Is that where the term comes from?
I'm not taking DMT to see it, but that's what they say.
What is that, machine elves?
Yeah, it's both. But my understanding.
Clockwork machine elves. It's like you're in a clock.
But
It's bonging. It's bong, jing, bang.
But it's also that certain things happen recurring in your life, just like the chorus to a song. And you have the chorus, then you leave the chorus, which is going to be the through line of your life or whatever, and you're going to have the verse, which are different things start happening. But then the whole background time, you're still going to be returning to the chorus at a certain point. So it's kind of like if you visualize how a song goes, it goes here, then it goes away, then it comes back, then it goes here.
It's
goes
like
away. Like a sine wave.
What's the term? Where you're reborn. It's the
Yes, the eternal rebirth. Yeah, the cycle. Yeah, so that's kind of like what they mean by reality being music.
Reincarnation.
and they're saying, what does it matter if we die? We're a repeat again. Which is having a new experience, which adds to it.
And some
it's like
songs,
a wheel rolling.
and
They're like, why do you care if you die? It's going, wrong, 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 wrong.
And also the point that like some songs are longer than others doesn't mean they're better or worse than others.
Have you heard like a didgeridoo?
Yeah, right, yeah.
If you want to know, it's like, whoa.
Oh, he's right. It's exactly
That's
right.
what it is. That's what
And
life
is that because the heart's
No.
beating, so you're getting these fluxes of blood pressure causing?
I agree. Like when I'm exercising in the morning, not that I look like I do it a lot, but I do. I fucking hike like 20 miles this week. It's like when I'm charging up a hill, my brain's the best because it's like, and second to second, you have that half second of super intellect when all the blood hits the cells. You're like, and it's like, let me get that again. Yeah, exactly.
So when you're on DMT, are you hearing like music when those pulses come? It's like a hyper intensified.
I think DMT removes your normal visual blinders that let you analyze things. It's like if you were a fighter pilot, they can't give you 1,000 readouts. You got your main readouts. And so it removes all the readouts. And you're just like seeing like the full dashboard.
with all your senses, which is just the sense of touch. All the senses are really just extrapolations of touch, vibration on receptacles. So you have like
now you're just a soul, a spirit, whatever it is, like experiencing. Now you're floating around on air. You're like, what the heck?
So what's the meaning of life?
It's whatever your song is.
in math, the meaning.
don't
It is. Life is row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily.
What's
Life is but
your
a dream.
karaoke song?
That's the secret to the universe.
I want to hear what
song.
Alex's
Think about it.
karaoke
row,
song is.
row, row your boat gently down the
I can
street.
see it.
Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a
Okay, I
dream.
tried.
I think the
No,
meaning.
you tried. Say it again.
What is your karaoke song? Because you've got a very distinctive voice and a very like kind of like
I
punk
never
voice.
get to do. I like Ace of Spades.
But
The only God I need is the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades.
Oh,
I don't
that
know.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can tell you what the meaning of life is. It's a verb. Meaning is a verb. In math, when you take the mean of a system, you're taking the average. So when you mean life, you're creating an average to the system. If it's too good, you're going to make it worse. If it's too bad, you're going to make it better.
I
You're
know the-
always finding the center.
I know the purpose
You're
of life.
meaning life.
The simplest and most discernible function of life is negative entropy. That's about it. An equal and opposite reaction to an extent.
I'll say this, Mr. Poole.
Not equal
and
and
Mr.
opposite.
Malice. I'm just glad we did just transcend Trump. Nothing against Trump, but I'm not Trump. So I told Joe this, and I love Joe Rogan. But I went there and it was like, prove me wrong to help me. He's like, I'm going to help you. We're going to fact check it. I'm like, oh, my tooth's hurt. But I appreciate we've actually transcended Trump now, which I want to transcend the censors. I want to transcend all this dumb stuff. I care about liberals. I care about conservatives. I hated George W. Bush. I used to try to get you on the show back when you were doing, Occupy Wall Street. And it's not that I'm groveling to the left. It's like I'm not who they say I am. So it's good to be able to come on here and finally just move past this and have a real discussion.
It's
because
fun.
Trump is like this small little part of my life.
Yeah.
And but I had to
Let me tell you guys something, and I'm really interested in what you think about this, Michael.
hold on, I'm going to show you something because something just happened. But go ahead.
Something just happened.
Yes, and I'll show it to you. You're going to read this out loud.
I'm going to read it out loud. Is it something huge?
It's a text message from my buddy. It's time stamped. What does this say?
You
hold
gonna
on,
hand it?
sorry, I'm handing you the phone. I don't need you to.
Michael,
That's good. What
Michael,
is it?
I
something.
need you to look at my calves. Here, read what that says and the timestamp.
Friday, 5:14 p.m.
That's earlier today.
I love how everything is flowing for you. Friday, 5:15 p.m. Just transcendence everywhere.
What about
what is
Trump's
that?
tweet? Speaking of
What's
Trump,
that?
But what do you mean by that?
He just kept talking about transcendence. This,
So
this
let
text from hours
me
ago.
I want to say something about you were talking about the meaning of life and the creatures and the elves and all that stuff. So I was reading something a really long time ago about entropy and how life only exists in creating complex systems so long as it creates more entropy around it. And the one thing I realized, because I was reading this book about the expansion of complex and dynamic systems or complex dynamic systems, life, as far as we can tell,
You never know what you're gonna get.
well, it keeps every bit of it from the basic self-replicating protein up to humans is different degrees of creating more complicated systems. You have creatures that replicate themselves, turning free energy into a complex system within itself, up to humans who start creating abstract concepts, which are complex systems, which don't even exist in physical space, turning energy into patterns of thought and language.
we're
and
creating
math.
higher dimensions.
I feel like you just
Maybe.
glossed over something that's I'm finding to be kind of a big deal.
The transcendence thing?
Yeah, which is he's just going on and on about transcendence, and just 2 hours ago, and you have this timestamp. My friend was talking to me about this transcendence everywhere.
Which shows synchronicity.
Yes,
There is
that's
a
all I'm saying.
I don't want to get too specific on what these numbers are because it's personal information, but there are two specific numbers that there's a series of numbers everybody has involved in their lives.
Pi.
No, I mean like everybody has unique
personal
numbers,
number.
like phone numbers or social security numbers.
Numbers that keep coming up. Mine is
No. Well, so just to be specific, like you can say you have a phone number, you have a birthday. There are numbers in your life. Something happened. I mentioned this to Michael.
Yep.
Two very specific numbers in a very, very weird way around the same time colliding, and you were like, "That's crazy." And I was
I
like,
didn't say that's crazy.
"You said something like that, right?"
Yeah. No, I said this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about.
I was
And
online
we should
filling
be
out
trying to
forms.
recognize that.
Yes.
Because then you're like it's like Matrix code.
I was filling
Like the
out
fact
forms.
it's not
Yes.
crazy you're doing it, you're trying to understand the universe. And if you're not doing that, you're an idiot.
You'll notice when you explain something to someone, if they don't understand you, they think you're crazy. But they're
Correct.
the ones that can't understand.
Right. If I start telling you should buy the Spotify people, it's a perfect example. Alex, you're a moron. I'm not buying Spotify because they're like, I'm a stock person. You're just a jerk on a boat.
But
he
you
was
get
right.
but you get the sick joke of it. Is they're already? It wasn't me being arrogant. I was already.
But you had data. It's, you
They were talking about stuff.
They were being
and
arrogant.
acting arrogant. So I joke. I'm on with Joe Rogan for 10 minutes. It's huge news. So as a joke, I go, "Hey, you guys ought to buy Spotify." They laugh at me.
Yeah.
I didn't even use the data because I'm not part of that. But it was like part of the sick currency that God got the joke.
I'll tell you a
because
story.
they could have made $1 billion.
I'll tell you a story about who brought up Max Kaiser? Was it you brought up Max
Yeah,
Kaiser?
Max Kaiser.
So I was actually hanging out with Max. I know Max. He's a cool dude, and Stacy. They're great people. And there was this billionaire guy they knew, and he was just like talking about how he's going to launch a newsletter. And he was like, I'm going to give people advice on what they should buy. And I said, all right, you're a billionaire. I'm broke. What should I buy? And he said, Square, Jack Dorsey's company. And I was like, why is that? And he goes, ease of transactions. Simple, right? Everyone's going to start using this very simple.
And he's got the audience.
And it went from, so I was broke. I put a small amount of money into Square at $13. It's at 215 today.
If people really want to be smart, they'd be buying Ethereum.
No, but what you just
So
said is key,
told.
Tim, because beginnings are key. You've got to make a decision, like a man and a woman together or a business deal. Is this, and you bet at the beginnings where the money's made. The beginning and also ends, but and big changes. But I mean, it's just, to me, the weirdest thing is it doesn't matter how successful I've been, doesn't matter if I've brought in, over the years, let's not even say how much money to fund my operation with it. But it's weird, like big globalists, big people listen to me. But like average people, they don't listen. They think when you're giving them info, like you're trying to like embarrass them.
Yeah.
They're superstitious about information. I don't know how to explain
And
it.
they take pride in digging their heels and not having you being able to change their minds because they think it's a battle of wills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
what is this thing? Listen, when I'm wrong about something, I want to learn about it.
Yeah, but you're a dad, right? So I think, I'm sure, I don't know your kids, but like growing up, a lot of times you're like, look, I'm telling you, if you do A, B, and C, this is the right thing. And they want to be like, oh, you're dad, you're dumb. I know it all. It's like, all right, don't listen to your dumb dad. See what happens to you.
Yeah.
That's
all been through
exactly
that.
what it is.
Yeah.
Probably because we're taught by teachers our whole lives that
We're
end
the
up being
worst.
wrong. Yeah, a lot of times you're told to do stuff that isn't right. So when someone comes
Yeah,
along
you're
and tells
right.
you
You know,
something
when-
that is,
Exactly. You're taught a lot of BS.
When I was growing up, I had my parents telling me the truth, and I had a dad who was blunt and told me the truth. I
You
remember
were adopted and it was a mistake.
when I was like 7. I remember I had to wake up. School started at 7:30 in the morning, so I had to get up at 6:30, and I'm waking up. I'm all tired, and I'm like, I don't want to go to school. And my dad goes, "Don't go to school," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Don't go to school. You can just choose not to." And I was like, "But I have to go to school." And he goes, "If you say so." And I went, "Ugh," and I got up and I went to school. I made the choice. But that kind of thinking was what I was brought up with, challenging these norms and these ideas and these authorities and these systems. And I've always been questioning this, how people do things and the rules, and it's probably because of that.
No, that's true. I've let my children down because
Oh, that's awful.
no, I've been good in a lot of ways, but I wanted to be so loving and so good that I just kind of let them do what they want. Versus my parents said, by the time I was like 13, they said, "Get a job. You want new clothes. You want a car? Go pay for it." And I was thinking, these are hard asses, but now I appreciated all that. It's an old story, but it's true. And my kids are great, but you give them everything they want, they don't appreciate it. And my kids are wonderful. They're wonderful, but
How many kids do you have?
4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
we thrive off resistance. That's like even trees need resistance to grow.
Well, that's the old Confucian thing. Like if the grass isn't blowing, it doesn't survive.
But is there value to creating, imaginary resistance? Because that would anger me if I was your kid and you were like had all this money and I was like, why can't I have some? You're like, no, go do it yourself. I'd get angry. I'd start to resent you. So I don't know. Maybe there
But
is a value
kids-
to supply.
no, that's exactly right. Like my oldest daughter's really smart and good. She goes, you've got money. Why do I need a job? And I'm like, do you understand? You'll be empowered by that. If I just give you money, you're like a plant I water.
Yeah, because it's also like, what if dad gets mad and now he's got that money he could hold as leverage over your head?
What
Whereas
if I
you-
die? What if I die?
Right. But if you had your
I
own
told my
job-
daughter who's getting it now, she's doing a good job. I said, what if I have a stroke? What if I don't have money someday? Take care of me.
Yeah.
Like I take care of you. It's like you better learn how to do stuff.
It's going to be like Baby
Kids,
Jane.
I think there's a reason why kids typically challenge the adults. It's a natural part of
Absolutely.
evolution.
Like
It's-
it's like 3-year-olds is when they learn to lie because that's when they're realizing there's a disconnect between facts and what they
My
tell
youngest
people.
daughter's 3.5, and she's just now learned to like. If she doesn't want to like at the store, she wants a toy, she'll go help. Like it's like these women, man. I'm telling you.
and then someone walks over and sees a little girl yelling help with Alex Jones walking by, and
it's like,
it's him, it's happening.
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like it's because you're right. They're young. Lying is creative. It's like
Yeah. And it's also one way for them to be more powerful than their parents
yeah.
because they've actually convinced the parents of something that's not true. That's real power. That's the only power you have at that age. You're not
My
gonna yell,
3.5-year-old Erica's my wife. She came over to talk about her. She's like, we call her the Martian ambassador. I mean, she's so damn smart, man. She's like, how does this operate? What is this thing? I like this vehicle. I mean, it's like, I don't know what's going on with children, but they said like there's these indigo kids or these future kids.
Yeah. Indigo, Star Children. Yeah.
And everybody wants to say their kid's the best ever.
Oh, you know about
but let me
indigo
tell you, we
children.
know adults.
What is it?
You don't know about Indigo Children?
I have a 3.5-year-old that talks better than like a UN ambassador.
You mean there's like prodigies, like super smart kids
Yeah.
who?
But they
like
also
old
think they
soul
might
types?
have some kind of like alien hybrid DNA.
Yeah, it's
I'm
kinda
not
weird.
kidding. That's a thing. Look it up. Indigo Children.
In
possible.
Indigo. One of the seven
Like the
colors of the
color
rainbow.
blue.
It's possible that we're being seeded right now by fungal spores that we're just not perceiving. And
that
we're
manipulates our genetics and manifests.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Everything else is talk.
pseudo-scientific.
That's what
Does
the
Bill
globalists
Gates
want you
agree
to
with
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Bill Gates says it's a lie, so that's how you know it's the truth.
Special, unusual, and sometimes supernatural
No,
traits or
obviously
abilities.
it's a new age thing. But if we want to believe it, it's our right. Like why do I have to news guard whether I believe in indigo children?
Because you're a
No, I just
gorilla
pulled it
and
up
you're
on
telling
Wikipedia.
people to murder themselves.
I'm a gorilla. I had somebody on. I was gassing my car up 2 days ago, and I walk over and I go, it was like a woman. She goes, "I'm a gorilla," and like.
It looks like a woman. I love how he's not sure what it was. It looks like a woman.
No, my point is that
He's being politically correct. Come on.
Yeah, it looks like
this
a
is
it's
literally.
ma'am.
It's ma'am.
I had a dream about Max Kaiser and Stacy earlier today, talking about synergy and Max Kaiser, who you brought up earlier and who you just brought up. In the dream, we were picking apples and I was driving. And whenever we would go through a tight corridor, Max would say, "Good job."
No,
That's
listen,
great.
I love Max.
Can you tell that
But
story
he
4 more
keeps trying
times?
to
Yeah.
explain to me. I'm like, dude, I don't do any stock market investments, anything. I just don't want to steer my audience into something BS. And I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm just saying.
Well, he holds a lot of Bitcoin and he tells people to buy Bitcoin. He's
And he
pretty
was right
shameless
the whole
about it,
time.
and he was.
And now he says to buy Ethereum.
When he
it's
said
exploding right now.
years and years ago, buy Bitcoin, I'm sure everybody wishes they listened.
Yeah.
Man.
Dude, I was at Bilderberg 2008 or whatever it was.
Where they make the teddy bears?
Bilderberg.
Yes, that is where
He
they
literally
go.
goes, here's 10,000 Bitcoins. And I'm like, he got really mad because I was like drinking wine and eating steak like I am right now. He's like, dude, I just gave you 10,000. This is the future. And I'm like, oh yeah, great. So that's right.
You were the guy in the boat.
Yeah.
And he was the Alex Jones on the boat.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
got really
That's
mad.
how life is a song.
Yep.
Because it's
Yeah.
the same chorus with slightly twist. Wow. There you go.
And so I was asking my
So
crew
when's
later,
the
like,
I
where's
guess,
that laptop?
I guess you're not a dim fool after all.
I figured it out, Michael.
Yeah.
When's the
I
when's,
cracked the code.
when's the crescendo? Where's the climax? When's the big rising action? You know, is this it? Like we're getting all excited, everything's going crazy, the States, and then nothing happens.
No, skeet skeet.
What?
Skeet skeet.
That is that it?
Yeah, skeet skeet.
All right.
okay.
You bust.
The time we have left.
I am a
We're gonna go to super chats
It's
in a
like
second.
the best
No,
thing that can happen
I'm a
is,
gorilla.
is just
Gorilla.
calmness. Like if you think about the best situation, it's
absolutely
like
right.
a calm farm where the wind is blowing and it's peace.
They say Valhalla is like a high farm on a mountain at a plateau, and everything's happy and everything's golden, and you just love each other.
That sounds good.
But then we create we create problems to overcome them to become stronger just in case
Yeah.
there's some cataclysm from outside the system.
We send our children down the hill into the valley for a war to make them men.
Wait, before we go to super chats, I wanted to shout out the guy who makes those mammoth pens. If you go to foothillantiques.com
I'm a gorilla.
on Instagram, who wants
Murder
this?
yourself.
You want this?
The pen?
Yeah.
You give it to me?
Hey,
Yeah.
here's the deal. I'm having a great time.
Can
You're
I-
having a great time.
can I-
And we've transcended. Tim, what are the
Can I
other
give a-
topics we want to cover that we've moved past Trump?
Can I give a plug to this independent businessman
do it.
who is suffering because his business is down 60%, who made me a great pen, and I'm giving it to Tim.
Only if he marries Joe Biden.
If you want a mammoth tooth pen, check out Foothill Antiques on Instagram.
Cool.
I've been given a pen. It's from a real mammoth.
Is that real mammoth
molar.
tooth?
Yes.
Mammoth molar.
And if someone throws
I'm
it,
a mammoth.
Nobody.
you have to gasp.
Yeah.
audibly.
So he this is not vegan though.
It's tooth. It's vegan.
I don't know. It's animal product.
Oh, that's true. It's animal,
I'm
but it's
kidding.
extinct. Yeah.
Is that authorized by
stinks.
you, too?
Foothill Antiques,
Didn't weren't mammoths still around like in ancient Egypt?
like 800,
Yeah,
like
not
800
in
BC.
Egypt, like
But
the
They
same
even
time
have
period.
pygmy mammoths on the coast
of
of
California.
That's
He's
cool.
right. Smart man.
hairy little elephants all over the place, huh?
Hey, seriously,
They're
we're
not
here.
elephants, though.
We've only
They're
hit the
pachyderms.
threshold of the broadcast now. Are you going to end it now if you want? But I'm going to go for hours. Let's get into real subjects. Let's talk about the secret space program, Space Force, and what you tried to do an hour ago, the Israeli former head of their space program. Folks don't know, Israel had the 5th largest space program. They put satellites in space saying that there's an intergalactic agreement. Aliens are secretly experimenting. I'm not saying this. This is mainstream news. Fact check me. Oh, great, Bill Gates. This is big. We should talk about that.
They just renamed Kennedy to Trump renamed a couple of like space launch pads to Space Force now. Did you guys get that?
I did. Trump's doing a lot of things.
So we talked about this when it happened, but we have it from NBC News. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it. A galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are.
See, this is why some lefty had a really funny tweet about this. They go, the most unbelievable part of the story is that Trump was able to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know what? It's not.
Didn't he
right.
but wasn't he asked about it? He said, I'm going to look really hard into this.
I don't.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to take a good hard look into this UFO thing. I see Luke nodding over there. He's saying yes.
October, he said that.
October. So maybe he just never really cared. Maybe he never
How
asked.
could you not care about aliens?
Yeah, come on.
By the way, speaking of Trump, we just became the Gorilla Channel, which he was accused of watching in the White House.
Yeah, the Gorilla Channel.
I am a gorilla. Yeah, that's this. So that is another example of synchronicity.
It's just,
here's
but
what
if you
happened.
look for
Trump-
patterns, you find them. You know what I mean?
Here's what happened. Trump.
What is that? You shaking your head.
Let me just say
At
this. Trump ordered 2 years ago the JFK files released. And remember, they wouldn't do it. He kept ordering it. They released a little bit. It'd be like if my crew didn't want to do what I wanted them to do, I could not do my show. Tim, if your crew didn't like you, you couldn't do anything. Be honest, you have to hire new people.
They despise him.
Yeah, they hate me so much.
No, they love you. But I'm saying is,
Not Lydia.
it's a, it's a
She
hypothetical.
puts the sour and Sour Patch
My
Kids.
point is, it's a hypothetical statement. All I'm saying is, Trump orders all this release. They don't do what he says. Remember, they were going to have training, which is now happening, that all whites are racist and America's
Yes.
bad.
Trump ended that.
And Trump said, stop it. I talked to a Green Beret 2 days ago. He was just shipped out to Utah to be taught literally. They make men wear red high heels, and they make them walk around and say America sucks in a brainwashing cult.
What?
Dude,
That's-
what is that?
Alex got really drunk with Tim Dillon.
No. Oh,
That's
yeah.
just
I'm
oddly
jealous.
specific. You know what I mean? Like,
$100,000 right now.
They made guys.
They
dress
make
up?
Green Berets wear red high heels,
Wow, emasculating.
and they learn how to give blowjobs.
No, Alex.
what?
So this is like
No. You think I'm joking?
Where does this come from?
What's that source?
The mouth.
Okay, type in Army soldiers made to wear red high heels.
We gotta look this up.
It's gonna pull up pornos.
No.
Not yet.
I had a incredible patriot for America visit me and gave me a little award.
He's right.
And he said, I said,
I'm
where,
out. I can't do this
Yeah,
anymore.
I can't
I need
handle
to
it.
leave the earth. I need to
Pull it
leave
up.
the earth.
Pull it
I'm
up.
out.
Pull it up.
There you go.
Army to refute decision to have male cadets wear high heels.
What?
It was part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. They made the
out.
cadets wear high heels in ROTC.
I'm
but-
out.
but currently they have been sent to Utah. These guys are like Green Berets, super killers. And I said, how is our buddy doing? And he said, Alex, it's literally meant to make him quit. They literally have wear high
Red high heels while in uniform as part of a campaign called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes.
Wow.
Alex Jones was right.
You become very vulnerable.
He also
in
said
high
teach
heels.
them how to give blowjobs. And
No, they
Yeah, I
do.
don't know
in
about all that
America.
stuff.
No, I'll
but-
tell you. We can pull it up. Remember?
How do I pull? There's a Washington Post
Yeah.
saying they're wearing
Hey,
high
Tim,
heels.
just Google army blowjobs.
Yeah, that'll end
No,
well.
guys.
Wait, hold on.
We'll have to use
It came up.
DuckDuckGo.
It's from Pornhub.
Pornhub?
Pornhub. That's where it came
Oh,
up.
yeah.
All right,
Okay.
you guys laugh about it. It's like, no, I'm talking to
Hold on. Let me just give you some credit. We are making fun of him when we literally he literally just
was
proved
right.
us wrong about the
Yeah.
high
But
heels.
Let me just tell you the
So it's
story.
like-
I was exposing the Super Bowl 4 years ago in Houston, running
Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Like the football thing?
Yes.
Okay.
In Houston, running child kidnapping rings.
Wait, what?
What?
Not the Super Bowl. At the Super Bowl, they had child sex slaves going on.
Oh, at the NFL was involved with this?
No. At the Super Bowl in Houston,
Yeah.
The event.
they were doing this. I'm not saying the Super
Okay.
Bowl did it.
Okay.
And so I had a guest on, and all of a sudden, this guy comes from the U.S. Army and the CIA, and he gets in my big whiteboard. I know who he is. He's a well-known person. He says, Jones, you've really hit on something. You got to be careful. Who's here? Who's involved? Here's who's running it. And that's the same guy that told me about all this. I said, where is this guy? When this other person visited me from the government, and he said, well, he's up there being brainwashed in Utah right now. They're making him wear high heels. They're teaching him that they need to become. Well, James Bond doesn't just have sex with women. So the point is that
I didn't know
they're
that.
literally. I was told this, so this is real. I mean, I'm just
You were
telling
told
you.
that James Bond doesn't just have sex with women?
Listen. I
Think
think
about the abuse of our troops, man. They'll do anything for this country. And they're literally got them in Utah wearing high heels and learning how to suck dick.
Well, some of them didn't have to learn.
No, it's true. I mean, what the hell am I supposed to do here?
The high heels thing.
Stop sucking
Listen,
dick.
listen. Is it possible
But
that
I'm allowed to anecdotally tell you that that's the kind of stuff they're showing them. And you're like, why is the point? It's meant to run them off. If they were women being taught how to have sex with people, it's wrong. What do they have men at a goddamn base teaching them this for?
They're humiliating
It's to
them.
humiliate
Oh,
them.
there's a video of it.
Humility.
They got a video. There's a video. Look at this
Okay, of the high heels, not the other thing.
of the high heels, not the
No,
other.
I mean, obviously it goes way worse than this.
Higher headquarters through the Army to conduct.
Let's jump ahead.
Maybe.
If it plays,
Jesus Christ.
I don't think it's gonna play.
They'll probably ban that saying it's fake news.
Yeah, this like when we brought up Building 7, the feed's gonna go down.
Walking in heels.
Look at this. Look at
walking
this.
on her shoes.
What?
The
I can't-
ROTC
oh my
cadets
God.
walking a mile in their shoes. Army ROTC.
This is nothing.
They're wearing red high
By
heels.
wearing something
What the
that's
heck?
the most feminine thing that we could find. So
The-
what was that? Heels. The largest heels that we can
No,
find.
it would be
so
stilettos,
we
wouldn't
found
it?
red heels as high as we can get them
Oh.
and walk 1.26 miles so that we can support them for that.
It's not
When I
as
first stepped in there,
extreme
I
as
was
I'd
like,
imagine it,
wow,
by
I
how you
have a lot of
described
respect for
it.
women who wear heels.
But this
because
is the
they're kind of
whitewash.
platforms
This
to
is
wear.
not even what I'm talking about.
You can't run away.
Dude, I was talking to a dude who's like killed probably 200 people. I said, how are you doing? Well, we're being told to do this. He said, we can't even tell you what it is.
Country.
They're being told to
You what?
become
What is
sex
going on?
ops.
It's weird stuff.
Because, you know,
though.
they tell men in the military, hey, we got to infiltrate, get their women, infiltrate their women. They're telling guys, for America, you need to learn to. It's all about just the most insane stuff you ever heard.
And
What
that's-
year is this from?
2015.
Yeah, this is new. I'm saying this is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Currently in Utah, they have special operations U.S. Army wearing high heels, wearing dresses, and literally they're like, you need to learn to not be upset by this. Watch this porn. Here's how a blowjob is conducted. And the troops are like sitting there on big screen TVs
What the
watching
heck?
this.
They want to make men more sensitive, like so that they can be like, you know, there's been a lot of rape in the military, male on female, especially with women soldiers now. So maybe they're trying to teach men what it's like to be a woman. You can't run
That's
away.
exactly what they
it
say.
was. Yeah, that's what they said.
But
Walk a mile in your shoes. That's what it's called.
So I'm just telling you what I'm being
then
told.
at the end
and
they
here's
rape
a
each
say
other.
fake news. I was told this by real people.
Well, they're certainly wearing high heels. That happened. That was a big thing
That much is
5
true,
years
for
ago.
sure.
I want to fact check the
But
oral
I,
sex.
it's interesting how we went from aliens again right back into this.
This is weird.
So let's leave this and just say it's fiction. No one's wearing high heels. That was a joke.
No, but it's almost inescapable. Like we were going to do super chats. You said no. Let's talk about the Israeli space security guy.
Let's go back to
we
him.
go right back
Let's
to.
go back to him. What do you make of the former head of the Israeli space program, which they have one, folks, saying, was it Global International?
Galactic Federation.
Galactic Federation,
Yes.
which you made a joke on Joe Rogan about, which is now coming out.
So I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but we were talking about I think like war and international interests, and I said, Joe, the Galactic Federation will not allow us to enter until we're unified by one governing authority. And then Joe immediately went, I don't think there's a Galactic Federation. And a lot of people commented that it was funny, like a really funny
Yeah, yeah,
response
yeah.
because I wasn't being serious, and Joe gave me a really serious answer. And then we get this guy saying this. Is it possible this guy's just an old crackpot? And he's just
Or he could be trolling.
yeah, exactly.
Let me give you my answer in a moment, but let me kiss some Tim Pool ass right now and some Michael Malice.
Dr. Menace.
Please don't.
Dr. Menace. No, seriously.
Dr. Menace.
Here's the deal. Dr. Menace.
Why is he putting on high heels?
What's wrong with that?
Because I love this country and I'm a patriot.
No. People ask, why do you like Tim Pool? Well,
That's a good question.
I come home, my wife's watching while eating dinner, and I've been watching him for 10 years. But when people say, why is he being argumentative with you? That's what he does. When you had the CEO of Twitter on and the head lawyer, it was like Perry Mason, but real. I mean, I am kissing ass right now because I didn't see it when it was live. People go like, this is like 10 million views. Look at this. And I was so being shut down then, almost bankrupt, no one standing up for me. And you boosted me so much in my own personal when you cut them to ribbons in that interview. No, seriously. And that's why I love you because so I get why you interrogate me. It's your nature. That's good to interrogate reality. But you destroyed the head of Twitter. You destroyed their lawyer. And it wasn't just that like they sucked because they did suck and did what they were talking about. You were like a lawyer doing it, like a top lawyer. That was beautiful. That's why I appreciate you doing that because and I know it wasn't about defending me. It was about defending reality, right? Or what was the moment? You're in there for hours destroying. I watched the whole thing like 3 times. And I watched the clips like 10 times.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, like, it's funny how during Occupy Wall Street, I can get praise from all these leftists for defending reality. And then I got a lot of heavy criticism from the right. Not so much. They didn't care about me all that much during Occupy, but, they were certainly trolling in the live streams. And now we're at this point where after watching, after say like the Joe Rogan, Jack Dorsey, Vijay Gadde thing, the right or whatever you want to call it, is saying, wow, Tim, you did a great job. And the left is like, Tim Pool is all bad, or, he's right wing or whatever. But now that we're moving into this other space with, Trump in the election, now it's starting to shift a little bit. Now I'm actually getting praise from leftists. There was this funny meme about who would you stay in a room with 24 hours with? And all these leftists are like, Tim Pool's actually not that bad of a guy. He's kind of annoying, but I could skate with him or something. And now I actually have people over at the Donald.win saying I'm like a bald cuck and a loser who won't accept it. So I mention this every time. It goes back and forth.
Well,
people
it's
are
the
going to
same way for me.
Like a song.
Like Trump's starting
Like
to
a song.
lose. Like this Texas defeat's a big deal. I'm not going to lie to people. They're already mad at me. Like, why are you saying Trump's in trouble? Why have you sold Trump out? I'm not going to lie.
I wrote that song about the cycle of life and the
Yes,
revolutions.
Tim.
Michael, you've discovered the true nature of the universe.
You don't need to be sarcastic. I'm talking truth to you, and you're sitting
So
here.
that's a great
I'm not being
point.
sarcastic.
He's got a smarmy look on his face.
No, but seriously. So
I'm telling you, I made a video about how it goes through
I
these
know you
cycles.
made. I watched your
yeah, but
video.
Tim,
I enjoyed
Tim,
it.
let's go back to the moment with the Twitter CEO.
This is why they
and
don't
that,
like
All right,
you.
let's go back.
You literally, that's like some of the most powerful Perry Mason stuff ever. But it's not a movie. It's real.
I didn't plan anything.
Do they realize they were destroyed at the end of that?
But it doesn't matter.
Yes,
Jack
it does.
after
It
that,
does matter a lot, Tim. Come on.
after that
No,
show,
you listen.
Jack came up to me.
It was like Mike Tyson in like
And- and he-
1988. I mean,
Jack- listen.
Versus Estelle Getty.
After that episode, as we were leaving, Jack Dorsey came to me and he very gently whispered sweet nothings into my ears, and I felt a warm feeling. He says, "We're going to make it all better. We're going to create paths to redemption. We're going to allow people a second chance.
Skeet,
Don't
skeet.
worry. Everything you said, you're so right." And I said, "Jack, you mean it?" And he was like, "I mean it." And I was like, and it's been 2 years.
I was about to
almost more,
say,
and
I don't
nothing
want to tell
happened.
any stories,
That ship has sailed.
but someone we know that was in the room at that time said the same thing to me. He goes, I talked to Jack. There's a path to redemption, and I really think that Tim got through to him.
No.
And yeah,
Wait,
Joe told me
in all
that.
seriousness, though, maybe you did get through to him at that moment, and then he goes back to his board, and they're like, "Ah, cool story."
Yeah, he owns
bro."
like 3% of the company, or
Yeah.
He's not.
something
He's
under
he's a
control.
figurehead. He's
Right,
not
exactly.
even involved in
No,
it.
but
Jack
I was
Tunney.
there. Joe Rogan called me. And I'm going to give it a secret. Joe didn't say it was a secret. He goes, man, Tim Pool knocked you out of the park. And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. Incredible. And he's like, I think they're really going to get a path. What did he say?
Path to redemption.
A path to redemption. And I go, really, Joe? He goes, oh, yeah.
It's only gotten
don't
worse.
quote me, but Dorsey's going to, is what you just said. And it was nothing happened.
Jack
Which then
is.
pissed Joe off,
I think Jack is checked out. He's been checked out for a long time. He left Twitter a long time ago. He was fired. I think they brought him back as kind of but you founded it, so you're the face.
Titular head. I think that's it. I was told by
Right.
somebody, Jack likes you. He's trying to fix free speech. Leave him alone. And then I confronted him in D.C. and they banned me that day. And later I confirmed that was real. Somebody showed me text messages with him saying that.
You have the documents.
I was shown documents from 2 years ago by somebody else. And then magically, this other person showed me text messages with him saying, I like Alex Jones, but I don't control my own company.
He was
So these
preaching-
are, by the way, I'm not just saying this right now to act powerful. This is
And in all fairness, it's not a surprise that a CEO doesn't have this unilateral power
Right,
over a
right,
company like that.
He was especially a publicly traded
Yeah,
one.
of
He was
course.
preaching blockchain social media that can't ever be deleted, which is also kind of a bad thing. You want to be able to remove posts. You don't want to be permanent in the blockchain.
But you want to
forever.
know it actually has the provenance. But I get what you're saying.
But yeah, so
Could you
so-
own blockchain under a gnome to plume? If you could own blockchain under a alias, then it could be paid for.
There's a lot to try and figure out.
But imagine,
anonymity
I was
versus
told
identity.
by Joe Rogan, hey, Jack Dorsey's going to fix it. He's really upset. Tim Pool did a great job. And then later, I'm like, that's BS. I know other people confirm that to me, that he had basically actually is more of a libertarian, is upset by what's happening. And I thought that was a patronization at the time, but I think
I don't believe it.
So you think it's BS again?
Yeah, so I think if Jack Dorsey actually cared, he'd stand up and say something at the very least.
No, I agree. I'm not lionizing him. I'm just
No,
saying,
no.
is there any truth to it?
The reason, so Jack has said to me even since then in DMs, things about we're going to fix it, we're trying, we're working on it, and the reason I don't believe him is that when something happens like they
Well,
banned
Joe Rogan told me, he said, Jack's working on your path to redemption.
2 years ago,
Yes, BS.
if Jack
Right,
Dorsey,
exactly, yeah.
he could have, if he has no power in the company, he could at least issue a statement saying, I firmly reject the suspension of this individual. We must restore free speech rights. He doesn't. He just says, we're trying very hard. And then he does these how many Senate hearings have we had now where he says the exact same things
Like 7 of them.
and they're lies over and over again. We've got the leaked
We don't
information.
censor anybody.
Well, we've got the Project Veritas has gotten more than enough information from employees at Twitter.
So what is his problem?
I think he doesn't care.
Well, he doesn't own the company.
His job is to just advocate on behalf of Twitter. And so, you know what I'd be willing to bet? I'd be willing to bet before he went to the Senate, he went to, Vijay and said, what do you want me to say? She's like, say these things. Okay. That's it.
It does sound like
I'll say that when you debated her and him, you are smart, but you did a better job than I would have done. I'm being honest. But they were like mental retards. I mean,
you get kicked off of Twitter for using that word. You know that.
They were.
Yeah, that's bannable.
I know. You can euthanize somebody with you. You can kill babies. You can have Uyghur death camps for your Apple. But if you use a term, they say you can't. You're banned. Fine. I apologize. The point is, why?
I didn't mean to criticize you. I mean, people listening, like a lot of times, in my mentions, someone will use that word against somebody else, and I want to give them the warning.
No,
if
I agree.
Use that word.
So anyone banning this supports Uyghur death camps run by Apple. Because remember, I don't run death camps. I don't run death camps in China. I don't own one slave. So you say that I use a word like that, I'm bad. You are ignoring all the real crimes and using that attack on me to shut down what I've said to support Uyghur death camps run by Apple in China.
I'm just giving advice to people on Twitter.
I will agree with you, Alex, that they looked slow and confused. If you wanted to use a different word.
Yeah, I'm not kissing his ass. It was like a sloth talking to the Flash.
It was like they had their pants caught down and didn't
the
know
turtle.
how to respond.
The Flash has an arch enemy called the Turtle, who is his first arch enemy, and he's very slow.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Go back to what you're saying.
Showcase number 4.
Go back to what you're saying.
When you were talking to them specifically about the way they were saying you
Shout out
can't
to Adrian.
misgender someone, and that can you explain that confusion? And
so Jack said, we have rules and we follow the rules and we apply the rules fairly. And I said, your rules are biased. And he said,
Right.
no, they're not. And I said, yes, they are. Twitter has a misgendering policy. It's a rule that only fits the ideology of the left and is contradictory to the ideology of the right. Therefore, you've created a rule that only benefits the left. I had to explain it to them. They didn't understand the concept. Or they did, and they just don't care.
Because it's
Right.
not that I
That's
hate
what it
a
is.
dude that wants to be a woman or a woman wants to be a man. I don't care. The idea that, even Bill Nye the Science Guy went back to his 1980s cartoons.
That's actually that's not true. So there's a meme going around of Bill Nye talking about genes. It's fake.
Okay, I've
Chromosomes.
seen the video of them going back and re-editing the old 1980 show where they...
There's a video where he talks about your gender and stuff, but there's a fake meme where there's a
it's a video. Listen, let's just say this. The left is saying that chromosomes don't determine sex.
They are, absolutely. Yeah, so...
So that's going on. And all I'm saying is I don't care if a dude dresses like a woman. I don't care if a guy is a woman.
You're just yelling about a dude dressing like women.
Yeah, exactly. Who was that?
The guys in the high
They're
heels.
being forced to do it.
Exactly. They're forced. It's what I'm saying is I don't care if you want to do it. Just don't force us to do it.
Fair.
Does that make sense? And not like I'm capitulating. I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Jorgensen?
That was the perfect answer. Thank you. Chef's
I
kiss.
agree. I agree.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
regarding these path to redemptions, you can go to prison and then get out of prison.
That was actually
for
something
violent crime, for horrible.
Yeah,
things.
and I question big events they took out of context, and I'm banned.
Yeah,
I
how long
think-
have you been banned now?
They
dude?
said it's a lifetime.
It's
I
got to
think-
be a limited.
I think that's
term.
something I actually brought up on the show. I said that, someone makes a mistake, you give them a life sentence. You can commit murder in the United States and only get 20
Well, Tim,
25
I love
years.
your show because we've been in fights about stuff, but when you explained on air, I won't even say the name of it. I barely talked about a mass shooting, and the internet didn't believe it happened. I covered it like 10 times. They said Jones's identity is denying the shooting happened. And 6 years ago, I said, no, I thought it happened. Leave me alone. And then Megyn Kelly twisted it and got me well, why did you question? So they could then sue me. And you got it straight. You're like, Jones has repudiated this. He said he was wrong. And then these people continue to milk this and bring this up over and over again when it's not who I am. It's like they take one thing out of context and it's like Groundhog Day. It's over and over. And then imagine they're on the news going, he's harassing children. He won't leave us alone. Help us. Jones is attacking us. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No. And then they won't stop. And it's
Because you're trapped in a bad song.
that's it. It's like a song.
But it's a bad
All right.
one.
We need to go to Super Chats.
We have to, yeah.
Let's hear
We've
from
got
but
it.
finish
We got
your
a
bad
ton.
song.
Let's hear from the plebs.
We didn't
thread them
cover
in.
the intergalactic fleet.
Oh,
Okay.
we will.
I will
Next
tell you
time.
the big alien secret right now.
Oh, gosh.
I want to go to. You want on the show?
What's the big alien secret?
How long do we have?
I mean, I don't know. But I will say, I think we've tried 17 times to talk about it, and it just every single time goes back to the exact same subject.
So let's cover the subjects we haven't covered.
Let's talk to the fans.
Let me tell you.
We got to talk to the fans.
We'll do it. Let me tell you the
We
story.
got to talk to the fans.
Let me tell you the story.
What's the story?
Okay, so I'm not enamored by astronauts. I think they're cool test pilots. I think they've done amazing things. The space program's real. A lot of it's secret. A lot of this goes on. So I knew Charlie Sheen back before he went crazy again. I knew him back when he was with...
Maybe he just had COVID. He never had AIDS.
Exactly. But I knew back when... Who's his wife he married that was in the Starship Troopers?
Oh, Denise Richards.
Denise Richards.
Yeah.
So I knew him back, like, imagine being at Charlie Sheen's house, like 2005, and like there's a chef cooking dinner, and Denise Richards is there, and you're having dinner with Denise Richards. It was fun. He was a big listener. His dad was the listener. His brother, Emilio Estevez, was the listener. Because they're really Martin Sheen's really Estevez, Martin of Estevez. So
Is that who you bought the ranch from?
no, I didn't buy a ranch from them, but I'm not name dropping. This is a true story.
It could be both.
How did I even tell this story? What was I getting into?
Aliens?
About Charlie
Galactic
Sheen.
Federation?
Astronauts.
Astronauts. Yes. So, 2005, 2006, 7, I'd be out there to be on a TV show or something. I go stay at Charlie Sheen's house. Then he gets divorced. It's a little more wild. Stuff goes a little bit crazy. I knew him for like 10 years good. Stayed there probably 50 times. He'd send like a private wide-body jet to pick me up and fly me out there. So did a few other people. But I went out there, and I'm sitting there, and he goes, hey, Buzz Aldrin, I'm good friends with Buzz Aldrin. You should come on your show. So Buzz Aldrin calls up, comes on my show like a week later. Then we go to dinner with Buzz Aldrin. And Buzz Aldrin's like, look, we've got major bases on the moon. There's a big equatorial water base and at the North and South Pole. And, we got the base. And there's an alien base, at Mars. They're giving it to us. And there's a Choron, the moon, or whatever the name of the moon is. What's the single moon of Mars? Well, that's where we...
Phobos.
Deimos and Phobos.
Phobos.
Charon is Pluto.
I mean, sorry, whatever it is. He goes, we've got this transmitter base. We've got this obelisk that we communicate with them with. And I'm like, why don't you come on my show and do that? He comes on. It became national news. He's like, there's an obelisk on the Mars is one moon. We're in communication with aliens.
Wait, Buzz Aldrin said this?
This is Buzz Aldrin on my show.
Can you look this up?
I swear to God, this is
I
real.
believe you. Everything else you've said we've looked up has been...
And so he comes on, and about a year later, I'm at Charlie Sheen's house. By then, he's partying.
How is this real?
He's partying, and he goes, let's go to a steakhouse with Buzz Aldrin. So Buzz Aldrin, I'm sitting there eating steak in L.A., and Buzz Aldrin looks me in the eyes. He goes, Alex, the Egyptians are run by aliens. We have the base on Mars, and we've got an intergalactic agreement with them. And he goes, but don't worry, the Indians in 1 year will land a spacecraft that will crash one on the moon to find the water. And that's the symbol of the intergalactic agreement. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking he's crazy.
Uh-huh.
A year later, the Indians crash it onto the moon and find the water.
So here's some of the top
And he would
comments.
never come on again. He goes, that's it.
Some of the top comments on the video say, came here from the recent Joe Rogan. Good to hear Buzz really talked about all this stuff. Right, except that Jones' account is quite a bit different from the general tenor of Aldrin's remarks. Aldrin never said that aliens built anything.
I just told you the rest of the story.
Oh, I was just reading some of
I
the
talked
comments.
to him on the phone, and I met with him. And you can call Buzz Aldrin, he'll tell you.
It's possible that they told him it was aliens to throw him off, and that the government built like a listening post on Mars's moon.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He's like, we've got an obelisk, like 2001 on the moon, and all this stuff. I'm not saying it's real.
Go back a second, Tim.
Dude, I mean, I've hung out with this
Just
guy.
go back in the video.
I mean-
Alex, are you like me when you look at yourself with like a baby face? You're like, oh my God, look how old we've gotten. Does that creep you out too?
I mean, he's pretty old here, too. How old are you, Alex?
What creeps me out is the view count's not that high on this.
Well, this is a re-upload.
Yeah, they banned
It's just-
all of it. What's the
That's
view
right.
count?
Yeah, 11,000.
With like
Deep Space TV.
Priorities.
Bob Lazar gets a lot of crap for saying that there's aliens. I think they threw him off the trail by
Dude,
lying
I
to
don't
him.
even, I'm telling you, I'm sitting there with Buzz Aldrin eating a steak. And he goes, the Indians are going to claim they find the water. They're about to crash a probe in. We already found it. We're there. We've got a base on the moon. And I'm sitting there in L.A. eating dinner with Charlie Sheen and him. I'm like, I've reached the Twilight Zone. And then a year plus later, I'm in an airport and I look at USA Today, and it says they crash a probe in and make water eject up. Type in India crashes probe on moon to find water. And I went on air and said, Buzz Aldrin says they're going to crash it and find water, and they did. I'm on record saying it.
Before it happened.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just telling you,
Dude.
man, this is Dude, I mean, I had Buzz Aldrin on the show a couple times.
Did you find anything about the probe smashing into the moon? I bet there's water
I mean,
on the
there's
moon.
a bunch
I'd be
of-
shocked if there wasn't.
Yeah, they're looking
Type
for
in
lunar water.
Indian Space Agency crashes probe on moon to find water.
Dude, I got a feeling on Mars there's so much water under that iron
Yeah,
oxide.
November
Ton of
2008,
water.
India made the moon impact probe on board. Orbiter crash. Confirmed the presence of water, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
Slamming the table.
Whether or not there's
the first
aliens,
rule.
could be misinformation.
That was kind of good.
How are we doing the super chats?
Super chats
Yes.
time.
Super chats at band.video.
Okay, so
and
first,
Infowars.com.
A
Find
bunch of
forbidden
the
transmission.
a good portion of the super chats are, I would just call them inappropriate.
Oh,
Some of them are
Imagine that.
calls for action.
Ask the unappropriate ones.
No, those are the ones I can't read.
'Cause
Let me
they're
see. AJ Birch says Alex may be the only man on the planet whose feet I'd smell.
read the rest of
Michael-
it.
Keep it Stexa or whatever your shirt
Okay, that's
says.
Texas, just so you know.
It says
I was looking
Texas.
at that super chat. You got to start one more over.
We got way too many super chats. Let's see. Dylan Keller says, I'm so sorry I missed the start of the show. If you haven't already, please discuss the clockwork elves and extra-dimensional mantises with controversial diets. I want to re-ask Tim's question. How can DMT allow us to see around a spatial corner that we normally can't?
Yeah, we're going to talk about this for half an hour now. Good ways. How much money did this guy pay for this?
$100.
No.
Go
I've talked to a
rewind
lot
it,
of people.
Einstein.
I've talked to people that work for the Pentagon.
We know. We talked about this earlier. This guy doesn't know how to use the rewind
No,
button.
but they've gone, and not just the Pentagon.
No, he
people.
said I missed it in the show. These are
They've
old super
had
chats
folks-
going way back.
okay.
At
I thought it was from
ayahuasca.
8 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
At ayahuasca events in Peru and in Belize or wherever, where 50 people see the same hallucination.
Yes, the grandmother.
So they see the same hallucination, meaning it's not a hallucination. It's another dimension. This is big.
Okay.
You don't go to a planet to see aliens, man. It's like the veil's right there.
Waffles Sensei says, watching Alex's face shift when Tim explained what was happening on December 14th was one of the better 1.4 seconds on the internet. Yep.
The awakening.
I don't get it. What happened?
Something.
So
about
when I told you about the meteor, the comet, the meteor showers, the comet, and the solar eclipse happening on December 14th when the electors are chosen, and then the 21st is it's called the super conjunction, the 800 cycle when Jupiter and Saturn align and they become one bright big light in the sky.
The Christmas star.
The Christmas star, yeah. Big. It's going to be some
I'm
800.
a gorilla. Murder yourself.
All right. The Coconut Cabbie says Tim Pool is pure gangster for hosting these two again. Alex Jones, you and your products rule.
No, let's just say it.
Mahondo,
In a
Mahondo.
world of weenies,
Tim is king.
Tim is doing a good job.
Until I get banned, whatever.
Banned for this? Why?
Oh, they'll find an excuse,
Having
whatever.
fun.
Poking the bear.
Yeah.
PM says, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I think what you meant to say, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
The
I'm pretty
age
sure
of
this is significant
Aquarius.
for the times, indeed. You guys ever watch Zeitgeist?
Yeah.
The first one?
That's his bread and butter.
No, I was in the first site, guys, and then that he had a fake name. It was like John Paul or Peter Joseph or what was it?
Paul Joseph Watson.
Peter Joseph.
Peter Joseph.
Peter Joseph.
Watson.
No, the UN
Peter
pushed
Joseph
it.
Watson.
The New York Times pushed it. He's like, we'll live in plastic cities and camps, and computers
Concentric
will tell us
circles.
we'll own nothing, and the computers will tell us what to do. And he goes, and Alex, if you don't agree, you're going to a camp for education. And later he went, I didn't say that. We had the video. He's on my show going, you will go to a re-education camp, but it's okay.
So it's
It's okay. Like that
talking-
doesn't, just telling someone it's okay doesn't make it okay.
Tim, I'm talking to you right now.
This
What's
is
wrong
for
with
this
the
one's for
camp?
Ian. John Hutto says 99.999% of all matter is in plasma state. Look up plasma universe.
That's what I'm talking about.
Interesting, possible, but not likely.
Electrolasers, man. We're vaporizing matter and then recombobulating it.
Okay.
Look, get over here.
Here you go.
Right here.
Come on.
We're actually
Come on the show.
sublimating matter.
Yes.
Luke was supposed to come on the show.
I think you got
But
to sit
he's
on Alex's
chilling.
lap. All right, here comes
No,
Luke.
I mean, me and Vladimir Putin.
A lot of people don't know this, but Luke is actually the illegitimate son of Vladimir Putin.
Why am I getting notifications that I'm Alex Jones's
Illegitimate son?
Yeah, and you're my mother. I'm here.
It's
like, wait,
called
what
a
is-
joke.
What is going on here?
true.
I thought I was the genetically altered, weaponized version of you and Putin making a love child.
No, you know, I think it
Yeah.
was. I think a couple decades ago, the U.S. government stole the genetic material from Putin and Jones and tried to create a super being of governmental authority, but also who can see through the veil. And they created Luke. And it's
here
true.
I am. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah. You guys are waiting for me to say something?
Yes.
Yeah, say something funny.
No, what do you make? Let's go back to this. I think Trump's better than Biden. I wish Trump had won, but this Texas defeat, I'm not going to lie to listeners. This is a major goalpost.
Well, what the GOP chairman just said, he's hinting at pretty much going away from the union. And
We actually-
that's
this
something
is-
that
this is-
when,
look.
when you had me on the first time, I was
yeah,
like, hey,
big
maybe
developments. What's happening? Tell us.
Yeah, well, Alan West came out with a statement, and his statement essentially is hinting at the.
I don't think
at
he-
Texas
That's the
and other
chairman of the
states.
Texas
Essentially-
party.
Hinting.
Yes,
Do you have the
at
quote? You
succeeding.
want to
Yes,
read
I
the
have
quote?
I'm going to read the quote here.
Let him
Because
do
we
it.
have
I was
the
going
documents.
to jump in, but I didn't want to,
No, take your time,
implement
bud.
myself in there and all that. But he said specifically, perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. This is
Wow,
Alan
that's
West,
Civil War.
I don't think that's a
chairman.
hint. I think he's putting it right on the nose.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hint.
I
That's
mean,
really
See how we're so
knows.
careful because the senators like, it's a hint. He's like, I'm doing this. There's no like.
yeah, major news that of course people should actually
Read that
consider
again.
and
That's a
take
big deal. The
seriously.
chairman of the Republican Party of Texas says we should form a new union.
Yeah, perhaps.
A more
Quote, this is
perfect
the exact
union.
quote.
Indeed.
Perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. And again, remember when you first had me on? This was the idea that I first said. It might be the better thing to do than to break up the union and have certain states go along.
A lot of people.
That's
have
what
said
you
that.
said at the start of the
There
show.
was
country-
there was one guy a long time ago said this. In fact, he wrote an article about it. His name was Michael Malice.
Thank you.
Brett-
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's appreciated.
Crazy. What was that?
What's a crazy thing to advocate for, isn't it though? I mean, I don't mean crazy and wrong. I mean like bold and
Wild.
out there.
The situation we're in is crazy.
I think what there's been an enormous asymmetry in recent 20
History repeats.
Like a song.
There's been an enormous asymmetry in the last 30 years between how the left and the right gets their ideas, which is someone did I bet you even know the number, the window between someone having an idea on Tumblr and it becoming a New York Times article was like 18 months. And that was happening
Oh,
on the
yeah.
left, whatever loony idea, and then it becomes codified. Whereas on the right, it was just kind of arguing with the left. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to throw out our own, like, here's another article I wrote. Let's use the Obamacare law, which said you have to, by law, own health insurance, or you could pay a fine. Mandatory gun ownership. You
Yes.
have to own a gun.
Yep.
If you don't want to, you pay a fine. That resolves the gun rights issue in 1 year, because right away you will never be able to undo it just because of gun proliferation. What about seize all, if you're worried about privilege?
No, I agree. We never play their game.
Let me finish my point.
Oh, you're mad, Mariana?
I love you so much. We worry about privilege.
I'm a gorilla.
Seize
Murder yourself.
seize all university endowments and distribute that money as reparations. These are the kind of big, bold...
Yeah, they'll never really do that. It's like,
But if you
make the
start-
left pay it.
If you start with that as your negotiation, let them argue here instead of always trying to catch up with
Right,
them.
exactly.
I agree. Change the subject to their own
But
debate.
the problem
Yes.
is there's a prominent conservative faction, mainstream, that does nothing but chase the left.
Correct.
That's all they do.
But they've been
No, I agree.
completely
Why are they
marginalized.
always chasing the left?
Yeah.
Because their job is to be either low status in that world or no status in this new right
No, I agree.
world.
They put a lot of lightweights in there
Yeah.
that think they're going to get power out of the system. So here's the big question. Do you guys realize that right now as we speak, this is on a knife's edge? Like, the sick part of me is they put Biden in who can't even talk.
Right.
This is even better. Like, what happens to the left if they actually put that crazy lunatic in?
Well, so what's happening now is the progressives are starting to get rejected and ejected.
Yes.
Black Lives Matter tweeted out on election
Yeah, they're
night-
being thrown out by who they are.
Black Lives Matter official organization tweeted we won on, when they declared it for Biden. And now they're like, it's been 32 days and they've refused to respond to us in any meaningful way.
Yeah, it's like you marched for months, and now this pig cop won't even take your calls.
Who would have thought Kamala
you-
Harris, top cop, would
Yeah.
reject the,
She's in her pig pen, wallowing in the mud. Oink oink, MF.
So let's predict. We can all procrastinate all day and procrastinate and prognosticate, whatever words those are.
Those are all words. Yeah.
No, we can all make up stuff, but bottom line, where's America in 1 year? Let's hear it.
Well, we got a super chat. Daniel Maxwell says, where does Alex think the U.S. will be in 6 months?
Procrastinate.
You what?
Procrastinate.
Procrastinate?
That's your answer?
The super chat is what?
They asked, where does Alex think the U.S. will be in 6 months? You said a year. I said, well, the super chat's
No,
asking.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's up to what we do, but we need to recognize this is dangerous. and this is crazy. So I'll be honest, I don't know where we are in 6 months. What do you think? I mean, I'm really.
I'll give you a very easy answer, which I think no one's going to even argue with. There is marijuana laws were one example of this, which is all marijuana is illegal, right? All marijuana dispensaries are in violation of federal laws. They're all committing felonies every day, but
Right.
there's no organizational will and the federal government to actually enforce it. So Obama had raids and he gave up. There is going to be wanton defiance of these lockdowns and quarantine procedures, either on a state or municipal basis, and that is going to increase.
That's a catalyst.
Yeah.
But exactly, why would
Can I
Biden?
please get my punchline out?
You've been talking for hours. Go
Actually,
ahead.
I think you got 80% of the airtime on this show.
I did not. Go ahead, Malice. Malice, finish your point.
That is going to do an enormous service towards lessening any semblance of authority that these people have over our lives, which is a very key step towards having them lose their ability.
Hold on.
I'm a gorilla.
Yeah, we know
Wait,
you're
wait,
murderous.
Alex.
Murder yourself.
Christian Del Toro says, Alex, can you tell Walter and Natalie congratulations on the birth of their baby?
Yes, I congratulate your baby. Can I just say something now?
Give them a
You got-
nice
you gotta say
congratulations.
Walter
It's
and
like a
Natalie.
baby.
I just did it.
Walter and Natalie, congratulations on the birth of your baby.
Walter and Natalie, congratulations from a gorilla.
Yes.
Now, can we get really serious here?
So
for just-
I wanted to answer that 6 months question, though.
yeah.
In line with what you were saying, it's something I've been saying that, we had Stuart Rhodes from the Oath Keepers, the largest militia in the country, said that people are not going to respect anything out of Joe Biden's mouth as legitimate.
Yes.
I think in 6 months, it's not just disregard for all the lockdowns. When people start disregarding general rule of law,
Yeah.
because it's so, I'll put it this. Let me rephrase. The lockdowns are so extreme. Many people are just saying "f you."
Yes.
They're gonna start saying "f you" to everything else. In turn,
I've gotten to where I can't help it. I mean,
I think it's gonna be like, if I can say "f you" to this, what else is kind of irrelevant?
Here's my
Right?
prediction: governors to Gitmo.
Oh.
Let's hope that
I
starts
mean,
to happen.
that's
That's bold.
civil war.
It's not civil war.
If-
It's the opposite of civil war.
How about we give them the vaccine
I guess
first?
depending
I'm
on
really-
how they
yeah.
get there.
I'm really stupid. What does that mean?
take
Well,
the
well, let
governors
me-
and send them to Guantanamo Bay?
Let me
just give
let's-
them the vaccine.
The governor's not
Let's
the
ask. Hold
problem.
on.
It's Biden.
Let's ask.
Biden's not doing anything right now.
Let's ask Luke.
Oh, you mean
we all-
Whitmer
All of them.
and Cuomo?
Sorry,
Let's ask. Let's
sorry,
ask.
Christy, no.
Let's ask Luke what he thinks is going to happen in 6 months.
I think right now what we should do is have all the government officials and politicians be the first in line to get the vaccine, and then after that, I think everything will.
No,
solve
no, hold
itself.
on. No,
But
no,
in
hold
6
on.
months-
Wait. Let
yeah.
me stop right there.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, that's actually a really good idea.
Yes.
Not for any joke.
No,
reason.
I agree.
Hold on,
There's
hold on,
Obama
hold on.
and all
Stop,
them.
stop.
Knock, knock.
Listen. If they're the leaders who are supposed to be leading the charge, we cannot allow them to get sick and be taken out. It's been a nightmare when Trump was sick, when Boris Johnson was sick. We need to make sure they're going to remain safe, so they should be first in line to get the vaccines.
I agree. So
exactly. And learn
how
how
do
to
we
suck
know they're
dick.
really taking it? Because I agree. I want them to take it all first.
It's just an idea. But Luke, where will it be in 6 months?
6 months, there's going to be a lot more poverty, a lot more lockdowns, a lot more problems. I don't see this going away. I mean, when you look at the whole COVID-19 system that has been put in
It's
place,
a great
that has been
reset
there,
takeover.
and the Great Reset, exactly. There's too many people benefiting off of it for it to go away.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that this is still going to be around. There's going to be complications. There's going to be poverty. I don't think we're going to reach the boiling point in 6 months, but we're going to get very close to it, and we're going to have to keep a very close eye on what's going on and prepare for the worst.
Okay,
and-
I'm
yeah,
sorry to interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
Just one thing. It's a very blue-pilled concept that is presented as a given that it has to be a civil war as opposed to a peaceful, like Czechoslovakia and all these other countries. It does not have to happen violently.
No, I don't
make
want
your
violence
face,
either.
William?
But let me explain something.
Wait,
The
why make
globalists
your
admit
face?
they're using COVID. You've been talking. You act like I've been interrupting.
No, I'm asking why Lydia was making a face.
You are meddling with the tidal forces of nature, and you will atone. Is that clear, Mr. Malice?
Listen, I have super male vitality. And when I take this, not only am I unstoppable, I have the best boners on the planet.
Infowarsstore.com. No, I'm teasing him. No, seriously, this is it.
Here come my boners.
The Davos group, the globalists admit they're using it as a
Boing, boing,
pretext
boing.
to grab power, and we must say no to the lockdowns
I need these-
and no to the fear.
I need these tissues.
Boing. All right.
My pants
This
are
episode.
ruined.
I'm not going to say it.
Skeet, skeet.
I'm a gorilla. Murder yourself.
All right, super chat.
Yeah, let's get
Joshua Hurley says.
I drank all this protein. Now I got rid of some protein.
Joshua Hurley says, Alex, what do you know about the monolith they found in gold? What do you know about the monolith they found, a gold one in Colombia?
They've been putting those up, the globalists have, to usher in, like the head of Israeli space program said, the aliens are here. They mean we are the globalists. We are the Ubermenschen. We rule you. It's all an archetype that they're taking over right now. So this is all like the new age. They know we're awakening, so they want to confuse us, have us fight with each other to buy into the fact that they're in control. They're aliens. Well, they're not. They're not in charge. We're in charge.
I kind of want
Pat Lynch says, "Oh dear, it's been nice watching you on YouTube, Tim. You are truly going out with a bang." So I'll tell you what's going to happen.
I'm a gorilla.
They'll issue a guideline strike, and then I can't upload on YouTube. Personally, my companies can't for 1 week. And I think it means we can't do a live stream on the show for an extended period of time.
Tim, I want to talk about
You think they'll do that for this?
Yes.
I want to talk about
100%.
aliens
But
for a
tonight,
minute.
we didn't do anything bad.
Yo.
No.
No, I'm not kidding.
Check it out.
Really?
Absolutely.
I want to talk about this super
Okay.
chat from earlier about 99.999% of the universe being plasma. If you could do me the favor and look up a plasmoid on Wikipedia and pull up the
What is dark matter?
Pull up the picture of a plasmoid real quick, and you're gonna crap yourself.
What does it look like?
It looks like a creature, like an electromagnetic.
So we're about to be arrested for a plasmoid?
Look at the plasmoid. Now,
That'll
this
be
is what
worth it.
happens when an electromagnetic field is
Plasmoid.com.
activated. It looks like a jellyfish
Oh, yeah, it
floating
does.
through the
No,
universe.
it's a figure eight. It's infinity.
And you see where we are. It's in the upper left there. The plasmoid exists where our stomach would be if that was one of us laying on our side. This is what's created when a magnetic field is met.
That's where the poopy is.
Dude, I think that magnetic energy is cognizant or coherent or something.
Magnets, how do they work?
This is the man we need.
Dude, we're all in this together.
We are.
Brother.
I think they should be banned from YouTube immediately.
Maverick X says, you all keep this nonsense up every Friday and you will get a Spotify deal as well. Perhaps we'll need one after
Yeah,
this.
we might need one.
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yo, Spotify.
Give me a call. Or YouTube's going to be like, no. This one's okay. This one's okay.
What have we done wrong? We're like, I mean,
Had too much fun.
Let's see. A lot of people are mentioning SCOTUS rejections. A lot of them are about SCOTUS rejections. And
let's go over those.
did
I
you
mean,
give Joe Rogan a rifle?
I did.
But you didn't give me one.
You know what?
Someone said, "Did Alex bring you a rifle like he gave to Joe?" I don't think you can.
Tim, I will give you an $8,000 300 Win Mag precision sniper rifle, the best Special Forces got. Like this gun when I bought a year ago.
Well, let's figure out the paperwork.
This is the best gun you can buy. I can shoot at 600 yards bullseye, 6-round mag.
Oh, wow.
Boom, boom, boom. It's laser beam power. My favorite gun, so I gave it to Joe. Because Joe's set up for free speech. But I will give you, if I can get one, they're hard to get, a 300 Win Mag semi-automatic Death Star weapon.
Let's fill out the paperwork. Sounds good.
Well, I don't have another one. I gave him my gun. I don't have one.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Jackamoose says, Tim, I thank you for having my favorite flat earther Alex on once again. I
don't believe in flat Earth.
He says, I am an Oregonian, and we have had mail-in voting for as long as I can remember. And Kate Brown, I can't read the next part. It's just too spicy.
But you didn't have 80 million sent out to dead cats. I love how I'm a flat Earth. They're always like, Jones thinks it's reptiles. That's David Icke.
Okay,
Jones says the Earth's flat. No, I didn't.
Here's a very safe super chat. Michael Malice is an amazing genius.
Who said that?
This is from Maverick X.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
That's your private account.
I'm like looking at a lot of these super chats. I'm like, I can't read that. Definitely can't read that one.
Just read it. Why can't we read what's coming in?
We're already sunk.
The spiciness level of the show and the lowered threshold for what we can get away with.
We'll see.
I mean, it's like they'll cut the feed. You know what I mean? Like YouTube is sitting there waiting, and they'll delete the stream midstream. They do it to people all the time.
How many dopes are watching us right now?
106,000.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's big. Keep going. More of their questions.
All right, let's see. So Potato
That's
Magic
a
just
huge
said,
football stadium. I'm so blessed.
That's where they have child predators.
Infowars.com.
CERN
Go
and the
visit.
Hadron Collider.
Well, here's the deal. This is not BS. I remember reading this 20 years ago. I didn't believe it, so I went and looked it up. Their main mathematicians believe that if you run enough of these equations and enough accelerated attacks in these cyclotrons, is what the Hadron Super Collider is really a cyclotron. They were going to build one in Texas at Waxahachie. They never finished it. So they built one even bigger in Switzerland and in France, the Hadron Collider. And they accelerate these electrons and different particles at above light speeds and slam them into things. And so they're able to open up gates to do this. And they admit in the equations, look this up, it could create a strangelet. Remember the first remake, like 6-7 years ago of Star Trek, where he releases that little drop into the planet and implodes it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a strangelet. It's a black hole. And the equations say it'll create a strangelet or a black hole routinely. And these guys are in such a cult, they are doing tests that could destroy the planet.
And they're very big into symbology and the occult, especially through their opening ceremonies. If you really want to get freaked out,
They got Shiva out there.
Exactly. Look at the opening ceremonies of the Highline Collider and be prepared to be freaked out.
Really?
They're in black robes.
Yes, it's all occult. It's all symbology. It's all like it's crazy.
Yeah, forget
All right,
Bohemian
all right.
Grove. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, we should go to Europe and cover the next thing.
I'll be there.
Let's go. That's my
Connor
husband.
Murphy, Alex and Michael, how long before you see the people, left and the right, turn on the police?
Oh.
Here's my problem.
I'll tell you. I'm listen.
Let me get okay. Like, they
Uh,
asked
do you-
us,
do
but
you-
okay, but you could talk.
I know I'm cutting in because
Yeah,
you know.
Come on.
Do you guys see the second autonomous zone in Portland, the Red House autonomous zone?
No.
Yeah, just launched last.
So I completely disagree with Antifa expanding their borders outside and surrounding other homes and taking over these streets. But I'll tell you this right now, I'm not going to give any sympathy or respect to cops who are evicting people from their homes at a time when the government took away their ability to make money, and so they can't pay their bills.
That's what I was going to say. I was driving here. I meant to make the point. You can't say you're non-essential and then bankrupt somebody to be evicted and then take them out of their house.
Exactly.
You can't. That's what they're saying in New York. Like, my bar can't stay open. I'm going bankrupt.
Yes.
And then the cops are the ones who are coming and violating the Constitution. I call them oath breakers. And like in New York, we have the right to peaceably assemble, to live our lives, pursue happiness, the 14th Amendment. And the cops come and say, we don't care, just give us money.
But I want to be
Oath
clear.
breakers.
I want to be clear. You've been following me for a long time. I followed you. I used to be Mr. Anti-Cop.
That's
And-
me.
Well, yeah, but I don't like arbitrary authority. I don't like thugs. The average cop isn't that, but the system's corrupt.
The average cop is most certainly that.
Okay, fine. All I'm saying is blaming the average cop makes us blame the cop instead of the political system to change the laws.
Oh, give me a fucking break. If a German Shepherd can do your job, maybe we're using the word hero a little bit loosely. Every single law passed by these governors and senators is a love letter to Santa without these men and women in badges
Wait.
willing to enforce these
laws?
laws.
Malice,
I'm not going to get talked over
They
on this
only
one.
exist.
I'm not
laws?
disagreeing with you that cops aren't bad a lot of the time.
They're bad.
I'm saying
I'm
blaming
going to
the-
finish my point
blaming
whether
the
you
cops
like it or not.
Or blaming the
I've got-
TSA is a cop-out. We've got to blame
It's-
the political
cop
system.
out is exactly the goal. Get rid of these damn cops, and I'm going to make my point. Every single one of these laws and lockdowns and quarantines.
They're not laws.
Decrees.
They're not
Fine.
laws.
Yeah, they're martial law.
I'm going to start from the beginning until I get my point. I don't care.
Right. But if you say they're laws,
I'm
they're not.
saying
I'm gonna-
if people stop blaming the cops and blame the laws, we'll change the goddamn laws.
I don't care what you're saying. I care
There's
what
no
I'm saying.
law.
And what I'm saying is,
The regulations.
They're not that either.
Made up
Fine, start
decrees.
over.
It's
I'll start.
edict.
All right,
Yes.
let
It's
Michael finish.
it's the only
Michael
definition is
Malice,
edict.
go ahead. You too. Go ahead. Make your point.
every single law that is passed by these governors and senators that violate the Constitution are love letters to Santa without men and women in badges willing to enforce them on innocent people. Every single cop does this knowingly and consciously all the time. Every cop is a criminal, without exception. Many of them are nice people. Many of them are smart people. They're all criminals.
That's
So
Rolling
the
Stones
cops who
song.
quit, who are on video, who pull up and they're like, I'm quitting. I won't do this. Or all the sheriffs who have said no.
I don't have a road to redemption like Jack Dorsey for these people. For years, they keep us unsafe in our homes. I'm in New York. Where's my Second Amendment rights? I'm only unsafe because of these damn
No,
cops.
Michael, I get your point. You're absolutely right. I'm saying blaming the average cop, though, we should change the law and take the government over.
Yeah, we
The
just got to
cops
vote. We just got to vote in the right people, Alex.
Okay, so let's blame the cops. What do we do?
First of all, have increased contempt for them by the citizenry, which is starting to happen. Second of all, realize that they are the teeth
But
of this.
Soros wants that because he wants to take the cops over.
Just because Soros wants it doesn't mean it's automatically wrong. Number one, the cops are the ones who are implementing Soros's vision, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's my point. So to have privatized police, just same way you don't have a government monopoly on healthcare, makes no sense to have a government monopoly on security.
You want to hear a story?
Marginally.
In Pennsylvania, they have really great gun rights. Not the best, but a lot better than other places. New Jersey is called one of the evil seven, where they have basically no gun rights. It's very, very difficult. There was a story I was told where a woman was from Pennsylvania and she wanted to go to Atlantic City, which is like a 45-minute drive, maybe an hour drive from Philadelphia. So she was just some doofy little normie woman, didn't really know much, and she made the mistake of legally owning a weapon and driving to Atlantic City and got pulled over. being the good citizen she was, she respectfully and politely told the officer that she was carrying her weapon. And the officer said, "Oh, thank you, ma'am. Please step out of your vehicle." And she goes, "Okay." And she gets out because she's good. Place your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. It's a felony. She got charged with a felony. She was looking at like 4 years in prison. And the NRA intervened, and that's the only reason she didn't go to prison.
I know the story, yeah.
There's a story I remember when I was growing up in Chicago. This was when I was like 20. A woman from, I think, Kentucky or Tennessee had a legal concealed carry, and she had a revolver. She was in her 70s. She went to visit Chicago for the first time to go to the we call it the Sears Tower. It's the Willis Tower now. And as she was preparing to go in, there was metal detectors, and she informed them. She's like, I do have my concealed carry with me. And they said, "All right, this way, ma'am." And they walked her, and they cuffed her, and they came. Felony charge. She went to prison 4 years.
Yeah.
She went to prison. An old woman. And I wonder about this. I was talking to a guy at a shop, and I said, when a person is clearly from Philadelphia, where it's completely legal, they're a law-abiding citizen. This lady was apparently like, late 40s, old mom woman, wanted to go to spend the weekend in Atlantic City and have fun by herself. Who is this cop to be like, I'm going to put you in prison for this?
No, I agree.
Instead of being
there
like,
are
you know what he
bad
could have done?
cops that implement tyranny. I agree.
And you know what he could have done? He could have said, "Ma'am, it's actually illegal what you're doing, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you an escort back to Philadelphia. Please, don't bring that back into the state because it
No,
is
you're
against
right.
the law."
There are cops implementing tyranny, and they're bad.
Oath breakers.
I'm saying we need to change the laws. Because here's the deal. I used to attack the TSA all day long until they were like listeners, like, please be nice to us. We're just trying to get paid our job. Please change the law.
I'm just gonna treat you like garbage, and I'm getting paid for it. I need my respect. You know what they call them in Britain? The filth, and with good reason.
The cops?
Yes, and the TSA even
Michael
worse.
Malice, listen, it's easy to shit on the cops all day.
You know why? Because they are shit.
Because they got problems. What about
Who doesn't have problems?
I'm going to tell you, it's a cop-out to blame the cops. Screw bad cops. You got to change the law, man.
There are no good cops.
Okay, fine. All the cops are bad.
Yes.
I think it's.
But let's say this. I'm saying change the law. Stop copping out to say it's the cops. We have to change the law.
The Second Amendment guarantees my right to a gun, and I do not have it. These laws are a joke, and you know they're a joke.
But most
this is what you
cops are
talk about all the
pro-gun.
time. But they're not. That makes them hypocrites.
Oath breakers.
How many? If you put your hands on a young person who is selling drugs and you put them to get arrested and have them be traumatized, you are the enemy of civilized human beings.
I don't think nonviolent people should be in prison, and I'm not a worshiper of the police. And I should be the main guy attacking the police. I'm saying we don't get reform that way. Let's change the laws.
I don't believe in reform. I believe in abolition.
Well, okay,
You want to reform?
You want to abolish the police?
Of course.
So,
I did not know that.
Explain.
I just explained
If
it
everybody
earlier.
was
Yeah, I
basically
guess so.
armed, who then gets somebody to go to court when somebody steals your car or steals your house?
You would have private. There's no. You've been involved in legal systems as I have, and you know perfectly well what
Private wars.
and also how expensive they are. How much the average person does not have access to legal services. You have to buy a lawyer, which costs more than buying a surgeon. If you had a private system where there's private adjudication, which we have already, it would be a lot easier things to get resolved quickly, and you would have a lot more access to free situations, and you would have ratings for these different legal systems. What?
Look, here.
I mean, also,
I don't want to interrupt you. I
No,
was
no,
just
no,
saying.
no.
Luke agrees.
Keep going. Finish it. I'm
That was
kinda
my point.
agreeing. I was going to say the elites don't really follow the laws, just like Jeffrey Epstein. and
Just
their
like
friends.
they don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
Do you know that the politicians? There's an old saying. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been there, but the local politicians in Chicago are allowed to carry concealed.
What about Mayor Bloomberg?
Well, no, all the Democrats get to go get their hair cut.
Yes.
And they get to have armed security
But look,
guards.
When
what
Donald
were you
Trump,
saying?
here's the thing: if you were a Trump voter, that's your prerogative. If you thought there was any chance that Hillary Clinton was going to jail, you are so removed from reality. I don't even know.
Seriously.
Because they can't, because she'll release all the other info.
Well, it's not even that. These people never get consequences. When did a Hillary Clinton, Richard Nixon? None of these people go to jail. They never have consequences. Alex, you talk about this constantly. How many receipts do you have over the years of these horrible people admitting to horrible things and nothing ever comes of it?
Well, Epstein finally got his neck broken.
Sure.
But how many stories died with him? How many victims never got justice with that execution?
No, I agree. They got rid of his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well then,
It's a very light show.
where are we at now? Yeah, very very easygoing.
Very powerful show, actually. This has been powerful.
I actually I
This
think
is
Michael is completely wrong. I think we need to do the opposite of abolish the police. We need to make everyone a cop. And
Yes, that's anarchy.
Deputize
correct.
everyone.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I
Deputize
blame the
everybody.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Mountain
me
Dew.
too, wow.
It teaches you to hate cops.
Here's my deal. I get people are mad at authority, and I want an American republic, limited government. There's some role with police. And I'm not in a police ass-kissing position. I'm just saying, just blaming the cops becomes a cop-out.
You're just talking circles. So what does that mean, a cop out? There's plenty of blame to go around when you're dealing with tyranny.
I think I think when you blame the cops, it's a surface level assessment. So
Let me ask you a
it's
question.
not. Well, here's what I'm saying. You're not wrong, but like the deep-seated issues that have resulted in this problem won't be solved by just saying something police.
I agree that if you cure COVID, you're not curing cancer. But I'm just saying they are cancer.
What I'm
That's all
saying,
I'm saying.
what I'm saying is that there is a problem in this country where people walk into the voting booth and say D or R, and they ignore who they're voting for. These people then get in and say, "What's the easiest path? I don't care about this."
If voting changed anything, they'd make it illegal.
All right, in closing, let's talk about secret space program.
Well, we only have a couple more minutes, I think. Yeah.
Yep, we're done then. Do not visit.
Well, everybody, this has been a fun career for me, and
And
thanks
on
to
video.
YouTube, I reached 1 million subs and said, "Okay, I'm done. I'll just have the craziest show
Twice, you did it
possible."
twice.
And
And
then
on
the first
video.
time they gave me a
And
warning,
I'm
and
just
this
gonna
time
one thing in all seriousness. One of the best things about 2020 is how so many more conservatives are being skeptical about police because there's so many videos.
No,
And
I
just-
agree that
and the thing with the
conservatives-
lockdowns,
no.
people are like, all right, they're not angels, they're flawed, and that's all I ask.
I'm a gorilla. Murder yourself.
No, what I'm
it's
getting
been nice knowing you, everybody.
What I'm getting at is, you're right. I'm just saying the police are the low level of the government.
They're the low,
So,
yeah. That's
so
for
if you
sure.
have a problem with government, you should change the laws. Blaming police is a cop-out. It's so fashionable to attack police, and police have problems.
What's wrong with being fashionable? We can't all be sitting in Texas shirts.
All I'm saying is that no one should visit band.video.
Interesting
People say,
point.
"Where's Alex Jones?" I'm at Infowars.com.
You're saying they should instead go to governors2gitmo.com and get their free shirt?
Is that a real website?
It's a real shirt.
Infowars.com.
It's not free.
I'm a gorilla.
not free.
Murder yourself.
Oh man,
This is CNN.
Pizza
Closed
and
caption
drinks.
provided by Tim Pool.
that's right. So I'll just put it this way. Look, when we did the first show, it was massive, and then they took the show down, and I immediately was like, "You guys got to come back because."
And you were fair, because I was talking so fast,
Yeah.
my tooth was hurt.
Well, I think
I was like,
Michael
I
thought-
said something I didn't say. I just want to say, I love Bill Gates. I love you.
No, I think you assumed he said the same thing. I thought he assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that was. But YouTube clarified it didn't matter what we thought. Even the joke itself was bannable.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
that's-
BS. It's complete BS.
What was the joke?
For the yeah, I'm not going to repeat it.
Off
Because
the air
we're-
because we're going to ban
I'll
it
tell you.
again.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
I'm a gorilla.
not
Murder
already.
yourself.
So, Michael, do you have a social media you want to tell people about?
Twitter.com/Michael Malice and malice.locals.com.
Band.video.
And it'll be this is the last big shout out. So while you can follow me on Twitter. Well, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler. I'm not going anywhere on those platforms at Timcast. But for my other YouTube channels, youtube.com/Timcast and youtube.com/TimcastNews. But seriously, the worst case scenario, they told me that I'll get a 7-week suspension, and this show gets shut down for
7
us.
week or 7 day?
7 days.
Okay.
No, you got a lot of courage. People are like, "Oh, Tim's being a weenie."
but let me
You have a lot of courage. Infowars.com.
7. If this one gets put on their radar and they strike for 7 days, I can't upload anything, and it's very likely that we can't do this show for an extended period of time, like until there's some kind of like.
But
It
why
could be
are
3
they
months.
doing that? You do a good show. It's like really reasonable.
I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. It was funny because a lot of people were like accusing me of copping out because the show got pulled. I'm like, I didn't pull the show down. YouTube did.
I saw that conspiracy. I'm not joking. I saw
You
that.
tried to get me back like a week later. I was already
No,
gone.
not even. I said come back the next
but
Monday.
Monday.
Like,
And I was like,
There
we
was
don't do
a
weekend shows.
There was a conspiracy theory
Yeah, like
going
2
around
days later,
Twitter
that's
that
right.
said you called YouTube and asked them to pull it so you'd have more controversy because you make your videos unlisted. So that's where they're getting that from.
Oh. Well, they're not unlisted anymore. They're all
Fine,
all
but
the,
No,
all
you're
the-
I
right. It
saw that
wasn't a week
conspiracy
later.
theory that you called.
I was here on the weekend. You're like, "Can you come back tomorrow?" I'm like, "Sorry, I don't have a babysitter."
Yeah.
That's right. You'd be like on Sunday or Monday.
I said
Monday.
the next show is Monday. Can you guys come back? And you said maybe. I said Michael, and Michael's like, I can do it. Well, actually, you were like, it's tough. And then you were like, I got a family, and I was like, I get it. And then this was the soonest we could make it happen.
Yeah, my parents were keeping the children. Yeah, it's crazy that was not made up by Tim. They banned it. They banned it all because they took something out of context. We can't say.
And then they changed it later when they got called out for it. So I can't specify
Yeah,
because
they moved to another infraction I made.
So, no, it was the same one, but they just changed the rules.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
It's kind of like how the cops, enforce what they
hey,
want.
so Ian. Well, while Luke is already sitting there, you want to shout out your.
Well, thank you, Tim, for your courage, and thank you for letting me live in your parking lot. I
Yes.
appreciate that. And my YouTube channel is We Are Change.
But
We Are Change on YouTube.
It's you're just here because once they ban me and I'm broke, I'm gonna become mooching off of you. Be like, Luke,
Well,
you
that's
gotta pay
right.
the bills,
Luke,
man.
Luke.
I was there with Max Kaiser at the Bilderberg meeting. In
Oh my God,
2008, and I told him too. I was like, Max, you're crazy. Leave me alone. I got to fight the globalists.
So wait a minute. I didn't know this. I forgot you were there.
Yeah.
Was he not giving us millions of bitcoins?
Yes, and I was like, bug off, Max. Leave me alone. I'm sick and tired of you
I'm
telling me
here
about
to-
your little nerd money.
I'm here to make
like,
teddy bears.
Yeah.
So let's end this with this. Tell the story. I forgot. We were at, what was that thing of north of London? What's that town called? It's,
What was it? Delford? No, Bedford. I forgot. But we shut down the town where
we had
literally
like 5,000 people.
minimum. Like there's people that couldn't attend our rally because there was too many people.
The
at
prime
the Bilderberg
minister
meeting.
came in and Bilderberg got exposed.
Yep. No, that
Remember
was
back
huge,
then, there's no
tremendous.
world
Yeah.
government. There's no secret banker meeting.
Yeah.
Like they would deny
The
Davos
mainstream media was
existed.
telling you there was no Bilderberg. It never existed.
And then
what are you talking about? You're crazy.
I remember this when it was like the crazy conspiracy, and then a funny thing happened. There was this journalist who was always on at Occupy, and the Guardian made him go cover it. And he was like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden, it was like, "This is a real thing."
Same thing with the deep.
Charlie Skelton, amazing writer, does amazing
did a good
work,
job.
and he
But
covers Bilderberg
same
every
thing
year.
with the deep state. Trump's crazy. You're paranoid. There's no deep state. Then the next year, thank gosh, the deep state is keeping us from
Yeah.
Trump.
Yep.
With,
Yeah,
not
suddenly the
batting an
left's
eye.
like, we go over a few of those cards.
Well, so
they're
let's
not good.
let's let Luke
They're
and
not good.
Ian shout out
They're not
real
funny.
quick.
So yeah, my YouTube channel, We Are Change. Ian, come over here.
Band out video,
Ian is there, yes.
band out video.
My only regret is that we didn't talk about space aliens.
We did.
We did a
Just
little
Not as
bit.
much
Here's
as
the
I
deal.
wanted
They
to,
don't
Tim.
come in saucers. It's interdimensional. They're in the other dimensions. It's all ethereal.
It's inside you
No, it's behind the mirror.
and outside you. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Follow me to Ian Crossland.
And of course, you can follow at Sour Patch Lids, who's been pushing the buttons the whole
Whatever
I
time.
you
have
do,
been
I'm gonna
badly
ban that
pushing
video.
buttons tonight. Oh
I'm
my
a
goodness.
gorilla.
A lot of fun. Peace out, I guess. Sour
Murder
Patch Lids on
yourself.
Twitter.
And I guess we'll find out if I will see you in the next week or so.
Yeah.
You may
In
go
the
to the
next day
Phantom
or so.
Zone for what you've done.
Oink,
Probably.
oink.
Band out video.
Oink,
Probably.
oink, oink.
Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out. And again, if I'm uploading tomorrow, I will. And if not, I'll be taking a great vacation. You see, that's the best part of this is I get to take a week off. I get to go fishing. I get to go kayaking and all that stuff. And then I can be like, it's not my fault. I can't work.
This
It's
area
Alex
must-
Jones and Michael Malice.
This area of Missouri is beautiful.
I know,
It's
right?
wonderful.
It's all be. Oh,
the
it's
land of
Missouri.
1,000 lakes or something, isn't it? Is that
Yeah.
Missouri?
No, that's Minnesota.
That's Minnesota.
Yeah.
I said that last time, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks
think
for
they call
hanging
it the
out,
Garden
everybody.
State.
Bye,
We'll
guys.
see you all when
Infowars.
we're back.
Do not visit band out
Bye-bye.
video.
Bye, guys.